Halloween energy and everything. It's
All right,
crazy.
we live.
It sure enough is Halloween. All right. Yeah, I know the vibes. I like to wait until I can see a Oh,
Halloween
there you
energy.
go. All right, we good. We are live. Welcome, 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 welcome. One Piece, chapter 1164, OPU, podcast episode 63. I wish we could. We got to stream during a break week so we can match those numbers up. You know what I'm saying?
The
The
numbers
64 to
right.
63. I just, it makes me uncomfortable seeing that being off a little bit. But we got a chapter this week coming up, so it won't be this week when we do that. Anyway, fellas, how we doing?
Good, man. Good chapter. We got Wenby
About
going
this-
crazy. Just NBA's back, bro. It's a fun time.
NBA.
I'm at 2 minutes into the chat. Like, let's talk hoops.
Hey, for real, NBA God Valley, like, man, Liverpool finally won after losing 6 or 7. Look, we here. We made it.
Y'all act like football don't exist. And shout out to the NHL too. I like hockey, damn it.
Nah, that shit sucks, bro.
Hey,
The
bro,
World
I'm
Se-
this.
Oh my god,
Oh yeah, the World Series game was crazy last night.
bro, that shit was nuts, bro. But we scaring the hoes, right? We scaring people away.
We're in the hole. My bad, Vex. My bad, Vex. That was Preach's fault.
Yeah, that wasn't. Yeah, Vex.
Captain.
Preach did it. Preach. He put the bait out there. We took it. Sorry. All right.
Hey man, he said, "How's it going?" That's what's going on right now. There's a lot
Let's
going
talk
on.
about One Piece. World Series was dope, though. I mean, you know, hey, that boy Yoshinova, I can't remember. Anyway, Rocks D. Zabek, or are we gonna transition to calling him Davey D. Zabek now, or what? Like, what are we gonna do about that?
I mean, I'm cool with either one, but Rocks just go hard, you know, and I just appreciate the fact that he the only person that go by his last name as his first name. So I'm cool either way, you know, but as long as Emu around, we might as well call him Davey too, because Emu sure is confused.
Yeah. Do we need
everybody look like Davey the Emu at the end of this chapter.
I was confused by a couple things. I'm not sure. We can talk about it. There were a few little confusing little tidbits though. Rock. All right, Cody, what's up? That's a way to introduce yourself to the chat. Vex, I think we got the other guys coming, but it's up to, it don't matter to me. This chapter, I don't want to rate it because I feel like that's just waste of time, right? It's a 10 out of 10, right?
Man, like my boy, he's doing a great job of action, lore, comedy. Like the low-key funny part of this chapter to me was stupid Big Mom. Like, are you bigger than usual? Like, Rock is only person smaller than Rock's in Rock's crew to me is Strewson. So like, you looking at Rock's eye to eye, and you like, are you bigger? Like, I appreciate the fact because to, you know, glorify these women and make every woman in One Piece smart. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate having idiot women too. You know, shout out to Baby 5 and all of them. So we got to have some foolish ladies on there too. Big Mom made me happy in this chapter just asking that stupid question. But
actually, you know,
Rock
don't get me wrong, bro. I love the chapter, but I feel like there's been much better chapters in the last couple weeks.
I think that this chapter gave,
I'll give it a 9.
as far as, okay, that's fair. As far as like, you know, God Valley goes, I feel like all of the chapters we've had so far have excelled in either A, emotion, B, character writing, or like it'll have like just like dope lore and stuff. I think this is the one chapter that had all of that and some cool fight sequences too, right? So like to me, this is why I think like it's probably either top 1 or 2 chapters in this flashback. Because from an emotional standpoint, I know everybody is focusing on Rocks, which is, you know, obviously the main focus here. But for me, it's Big Mom and Kaido, like, to see who they are now and what we know for them. And to see it all come from this misunderstanding of what actually happened to Rocks. That sucks to me. You know, I hate that.
Tragic.
I'm not saying it's like a bad writing decision. It's sad because it just makes you like, how would Big Mom and Kato have turned out? I'm not trying to imply that they were like 8 angels before this, whatever. But how would they have turned out if this would have never happened, if they were able to just stay with Rocks or whatever? But this bitterness from this, what they think is a betrayal from the guy they respect as much, led them down the path that we see the people we see today. Kato is a drunk. Big Mom is Big Mom. You feel me? So it's just that's sad to see. And obviously, the stuff with Rocks was sad. I don't know, man. I just really like this chapter. It had a lot.
And I feel like this chapter did a good job of, if you wanted to look further into things, you could choose to do so. When you got Eris running away from Rocks, and she's saying, you had to face him in order to save us, but it was too early. Like, too early in regards to what? Too early in regards to the plan he was talking about in regards to the devil fruits? Are we talking about hockey altogether and being overwhelmed? Like, I think this chapter did a good job of, just clarifying things for us, like how Eris get off the island. But at the same time, I think Oda's best thing is sprinkling along seeds for people to be able to create theories on. And I think if you wanted to stretch and do extra things with this chapter, you could as well, whether it be, Rocks calling, Emu calling Rocks Davy in the beginning, to doing the same thing with Roger and Jeepers Creepers, Roger and Garps at the end. There's just a lot that you could do with this chapter. I think there's a lot of meat on this chapter, pause, to be able to, do what you want to do with it. I think this is a great chapter. And I think the Rocks Whitebeard class, come on, man, stop playing.
Hey, shout out to Whitebeard. It's some people in the chat. I won't call no names. Some mouse heads in the chat think I'm a Whitebeard hater for some reason, man. Look, don't nobody on this planet love Whitebeard more than me.
Nobody on the planet.
Maybe Oda, that's it. I love Whitebeard. And last week, I apologized. And I said,
you just love Roger more.
Yeah, that's facts. King got to get my slander now. You know what I'm saying? Whitebeard is off the hook with me. But I was some real shit though. Like, this is not slander. I'm just asking a question. When the mountain is destroyed after their clash, does that come from Whitebeard being sent into the mountain, or is it the after effects of the clash? Because that was a little confusing to me.
Yeah, it was. I think it was meant to be like, we don't know. So I think he's gonna come back, and I think he's gonna have like some major moment in this arc.
I still think I still think something's there.
Because I think what's gonna happen is, like, we don't know. Like, they're probably gonna forget about Whitebeard. Maybe they assume that he got defeated, I guess. But yeah, Whitebeard's not done, bro.
Whitebeard's far from done. Whitebeard clashed with Rocks, and then his response was, dang, we did all that. It wasn't like, oh, I'm down. Everybody else, Big Mom, her eyes is white. Kaido's head is still in that mountain. We don't know what happened to Whitebeard, and I'm not going to accept the fact, like, just because he didn't, like, go down specifically, that we just going to assume that. I won't think that with Whitebeard.
I don't think he's done. I don't think he's done at all. I think I'm just asking if he was sent away because
how do I add Vex?
He should have the role.
I really think Whitebeard.
But yeah, I think it's purposely ambiguous. Like, I think Oda's gonna bring him back for sure.
I feel like if he was sent away, or if he, because I think once it became Roger and Garp versus Rocks, it was Roger and Garp versus Rocks. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that, but
one thing I think Whitebeard will destroy the island.
That's very fair. Or it could be Emu with the Mother Flame, one of them.
Like, Rocks might be
Whitebeard. The island will get destroyed though.
Yeah, but I think I still think there's a chance where, like, Rocks tells Whitebeard, you got to blow up this island, bro. I'm gonna, like, there's no way to beat me. And Emu, so you're gonna have to kind of just, like,
the two fellas. Listen, Goldie Roger.
You think they'll beat Rocks?
I think that
with Emu powers,
Roger and Garp are gonna.
I think Morge is cooking. Morge been cooking on his Tuesday videos, man.
I didn't see the video, but that was a cool idea. He said, like, Roger would do, like, a Joy Boy kind of hockey thing, right?
Yeah, and I think, like, seeing Rayleigh this chapter word about Roger kind of shows me that hey, maybe he is gonna like go back and help. So the Roger Pirates, I still think we get some more from the Roger Pirates because after Rayleigh got Shaq, he been dipped off. So
We got
I think
to
we get
just
more
off the
from them.
fact that we didn't see anything with Gabon and Summers. So I think there's
That
a
is
lot of meat on the bone when it comes to that in regard. Yeah, it's too much to be. Still needs to be done from what we've seen with God Valley. Still a lot.
I hope it's not Summers. I don't want to see Gabon fight Summers again. Like we know we can. If we know old man Gabon can beat current Summers, I don't want to see young Gabon beat current Summers either. Like that's not giving me nothing. You know what I'm saying?
How about Gabon probably maybe fighting or fending off a few Holy Knights, which gives
Come
him the street cred that already got the fair heart in him. Or we just done with the Holy Knights altogether.
Should I say that guy's name? Who that will upscale if that happened? Or is it too early to bring him up? I might make some people upset.
You're
Whatever.
gonna make some people upset, but you got to speak how you feel, big dog.
Gabon. Whatever Gabon does
Oh,
is a Sanjay upscale. So listen, my boy need to go clash with Emo. Damn, give me look. I need everything from Gabon because it's a Sanjay upscale. At the
I
end of
wouldn't
the day.
mind Gabon fighting in this just because Rayleigh already has his shine in this arc. You know what I mean? Like Rayleigh has his stuff with Shaggy, and I feel like it would be kind of cool to see Gabon. I mean, because we're used to Rayleigh, we're used to Rayleigh training Luffy. We're used to Rayleigh fighting Blackbeard and all these different moments, fighting Kizaru. So it'd be cool. Like this is the arc where Gabon got introduced. It'd be kind of cool for him to get a big moment.
Yeah, I think that
And
at the end of the day, they're going to be Roger's sword and shield the same way that Zoro and Sanji are Luffy's sword and shield. So when shit really goes down, they're going to be there to save and protect their captain. You know what I'm saying? I think Roger and Garp are going to take out Rocks, but it's going to be very tough. And I can see Emu coming, trying to take advantage of a very tired and injured Roger. And that's where we get Rayleigh and Gabon come through and protect the captain.
what if you remember when we got it officially that this was Copper Gabon and Elbaf? The Giants told the story of like Gabon basically cutting down a mountain to like hold off some people. When if this is the circumstance, we just don't realize it. We got one mountain already knocked down. I'm not going to say that Rocks is or Gabon is on Rocks levels, but it don't got to be one slash. It could be like a few.
Yes,
Do whatever he can to try to help out. I just would be surprised if everything that we got in Elbath ends up being a part of what we're seeing now to build the legends that we got in present day.
I think the context of that was Roger being sick though, and he had to protect him. But I think
Oh, yeah.
that's gonna lend to when Roger came down with his illness. So that's probably when Roger first got affected by his illness was when that happened with Scopper. So that could be like I still think that Roger getting sick came from Emu and them. I don't think that's just it's just too convenient,
I'm just laughing at that first super chat or that first chat because it's like it's just funny because we got hate watchers now, Krow.
That's what we need.
So let me guess that one guy's gonna shit on Whitebeard, hype up Sanji, who's not even in the chapter.
Hey man, look, like I said, I try my best to turn babyface, but they want me to be healed so bad, so I'm gonna be healed.
By the way, Vex, you should be able to join now. Well, I sent you the link.
My initial plans were to come on the stream today and say, Whitebeard, this chapter was amazing.
Awesome.
I was going to issue a formal apology to all Whitebeard fans worldwide and ask that you can find it in your hearts to accept my I can't even say this shit, bro. So anyway, fuck Whitebeard. The nigga got sent flying out the one clash. He's a fucking bum. YC1 for Rocks. He's not on Roger's level or Garps. Get the fuck out of here, nigga.
I love that. When Big Mom went flying past Whitebeard and he just had that look on his face like, I can't even focus on you right now. Like, that's one of my favorite panels of the chapter. I'm sorry, yo.
On himself.
Time to lock in. Calm down.
What's up, y'all?
Oh, it's good. How you doing, man? No, real shit though. Shout out to Whitebeard. That's my boy, bro. This was a fire chapter for him. That nigga, that face, like that right there, I think leads to like his why he was so like the idea of the ironclad rule of not, killing a brother on a ship or attacking a crewmate. Like I feel like that all comes from these moments. And to see how upset he was about it then, it just adds so much to their characters for all of them, Big Mom and Kaido.
Yeah, and you brought up an interesting point because you kind of brought in the idea of it being a misunderstanding where Rox, he's not in his right mind. And it reminds me of that one moment I always said I wanted to see Luffy fight a Straw Hat at Dressrosa instead of or was it Bellamy? Yeah, instead of Bellamy with the puppet power. But it's like this is kind of what we're getting it right here. Like Rox having to fight his own crew, and it has that emotional weight too, especially Whitebeard. I feel like because Kaido and Big Mom reacted their own way. Whitebeard, he's just kind of like, I want to be alone and start a family. Like, it's kind of cool to see how God Valley impacted them in different ways.
It sucks, bro.
Yeah. If I could jump in real quick, I think that, I don't know, I didn't see it too well. I got bad eyes, but is this where Whitebeard gets the scar he was talking to Shanks about in this clash? Or do we think more goes down here at God Valley?
Is that a Shanks upscale?
I wouldn't say that he got the scar yet because we don't really know if he's even been affected by the attack. But I think when he does get that scar, I think Oda's going to make sure we know about it. That's how I feel.
I think, and another like some like relevant to that, a lot of people go back to where we see Whitebeard landing on Wano and he didn't have the scars. And people are like, well, it didn't happen at God, bro. Oda be forgetting shit, bro.
It's true.
It
is true.
Oh, bro.
Shanks Roger had a full-grown mustache when he found Shanks.
Oda has to pull up his own wiki.
You feel me? Like that's what I'm saying, bro. Like let's not we don't have to hang on every single moment. Like some stuff you be like, look at the beginning of the album of all the mistakes Oda was making with Luffy weapons and all kind of other shit. Gear 3 for Gear 2 attacks and shit. That bro, he be tripping sometimes, bro.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's a lot, bro. It's a lot, and he's doing this every week.
I ain't mad at it, bro. Look, every week is nuts. I don't see how he does it, bro. I would have so many plot holes if I had to write a story like this every week.
I think honestly, at this point, I would prefer he go like bi-weekly or try to adjust the schedule. Now that the anime is switching stuff up, I think this is the perfect time for the manga to also maybe get a change of pace. But I don't know. That's me personally. Maybe that's a hot take.
I wouldn't be mad at it if it gives us a better idea of when we can expect a chapter. Because I feel like if he switches to bi-weekly, then it'll be less breaks. Because he already has a break built in.
Yeah,
automatically. And then content creators, obviously he's not thinking about fucking content creators when doing that, but just the community.
I mean, Oda tight.
Oh yeah,
we're like inseparable. Oh man.
But yeah, the community as a whole would know better when to expect a One Piece chapter, so it would just work out a lot better.
Yeah, I'm glad I hopped in for the Whitebeard talk though, because I don't know. I'm glad he got a good showing because a lot of people were complaining about Kaido earlier being kind of a little shithead. And, we haven't gotten the best showing from Big Mom in this flashback. But if anything, this has actually made me appreciate Whitebeard a lot more. And like we were saying earlier, it kind of makes sense why he sought to, as a Yonko, form a crew that was like more like a family. And why backstabbing was like such a big deal to him. And like Rox is known as the taboo pirate from what we got from Sengoku when he was talking to all that fodder about him. So it's interesting because Whitebeard holding like a pirate code amongst his crew and caring so much and treating them like his sons and his family. We can kind of see maybe where that was set in because he maybe feels betrayed right now. So the emotion was heavy here. I think it was a really solid chapter.
I love it. Vex, let the people know.
But I just feel like that's a part of his character altogether. He gravitated towards Kaido and put him under his arm. He was just a cheap bastard, which we know that to be from before. So I mean, I think it fortifies who he was, but I just think Whitebeard is just the one person who just was a naturally good person from the get go that just happened to be with a crew of savages.
Yeah.
So, Vex, what are your thoughts on the chapter overall, or maybe even just
Hold up, Vex.
God
Let them
Valley?
know where you plug your channel and let them know who you are too.
Yeah, what's good? It's your boy Vex. I yap about One Piece sometimes. I've been doing a 3-episode test, which is a podcast you can find over on Straw Hat Lucas's channel, where I talk about all kinds of anime and manga. And sometimes you can catch me on Discord, just sending memes and shit takes and and just hanging out across the community. But I don't know, I thought it was a really good chapter. I was getting flashback fatigue for a while there, but these last 2 chapters have kind of pulled me back in. I caught up at the end of Wano after the Odin flashback, so I didn't really get to experience that firsthand week by week and anything like that. But a lot of people who have been in the community a lot longer than me have been saying that this is kind of like that as well. And I'm cool with Oda cooking and giving us everything that we need from this flashback, but part of me does want to get back to what's going on in Elbaf. But I'm glad that it's all culminating to something. You know, like it does feel like this is like a huge deal. It leaves questions to me, like how does Garp still have a job? Like, you know what I mean? And like a few other inconsistencies, like where were the Holy Knights or God's Knights, like in these other instances that we have in the gaps between the past 38 years. So I'm wondering what more we'll get from when we get back to like focusing on Herald, because ultimately before we get to Elbaf, we still have to get back to the past of Herald and getting to him pulling his horns off and stuff like that. So it's just like there's a lot more to chew on still, but I'm glad that from this God Valley portion, it's gotten to a point where I don't feel kind of like distracted anymore. Like this is something that I could really sink my teeth into finally.
I feel that, man. I think flashback fatigue is real. It is definitely a thing. I remember the Kuma flashback. I definitely got it pretty bad during that one. As good as it was, it's like no matter how good a flashback is, at the end of the day, we're reading One Piece, right? And you want to see Luffy and the Straw Hats and such and such. And I know a lot of people, well, the One Piece is better, but well, not a lot of people. It's a very small, loud minority. But some people hold that idea that the One Piece is better when Luffy's not around or whatever. But real serious people do miss Luffy, and I can't wait to get back. So I think the fatigue is really gonna you're gonna really feel it when we go back to like Harold and Loki instead of being in God Valley. At that point, I'll be like, yo, let's get back. Come on, bro. Let's go back to the current time.
Which is funny because Harold maybe is more important for like the actual arc of Elbaf. But we all want to see Rox and Roger Whitebeard. I think this is one of the only flashbacks where it's like, look, bro, this is what we wanted for so long. So I'm not going to complain or anything because it has all the legends. You got like so many reveals and different big moments. So and like actual fights too. Like a lot of times in flashbacks we don't see like real fights. And I still honestly, bro, I don't know how much we're gonna see this fight. Oda, like he's known for just flying through these fights and off screening a lot of stuff. So I know a lot of people excited for Garp and Roger right now, but I'm like really. I'll hope for the best, but I feel like we're not going to see too much of this.
I've seen a lot of people saying that they want to maybe get like a movie iteration of this. If we don't get like a full showing, then maybe exactly. Yeah, I think that would be really cool because canon movies in anime have been doing ridiculous numbers across the world for the past couple of years now. Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, JJK is doing it, and so like it's just. I think that that's a smart move for longer running popular shonen series. It would be pretty interesting if they get like Megumi Ishitani to do a full movie. Like I think we would all absolutely love that. Can you imagine an hour and a half of God Valley that's like the quality of like episode 1015 or something? That would be amazing. I don't think we're gonna get it, but a lot of people are talking about it.
Good idea.
Yeah, I don't see
I
why
think it's
not.
So
probably the
even
smartest move.
A lot of times in One Piece we have these movies, but there's not much of actual like relevance to the story. And I feel like with the
yeah,
flashback, it's the perfect chance. This has nothing to do with Luffy. You know, you got the old legends. I guess my one thing is they always want to have Luffy at the forefront.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
I think
Yeah.
from Oda's perspective, he's like at a certain point you got to switch it up because One Piece is going to end eventually. And if you could actually make an entire movie series of just like legendary moments, Roger, Garp, whatever. So I think just looking for the future of One Piece, that would probably be the best direction. Because there's a lot of lore
I
in
would
One
love
Piece. There's a
that.
lot of history that's unexplored.
I think the best thing we get is a OVA, like a 40-minute maybe episode. Well, you can't cover all the God Valley in 40 minutes though. But I don't think they'll do like a movie, but I think they'd be willing to do like a special episode for this. Cause I mean, this shit is hype. Like people have been waiting on God Valley for the longest. And it's not even just the idea of God Valley, but just to see the legends like Roger, Garp, and Zebek at this point. People have been wanting to see this stuff for like a decade now. We got a little bit of Roger with the Odin flashback, but to have that, you gotta capitalize on it, I feel. So even though there's gonna be no Luffy, I think you can maybe get away with the fact that Roger and Garp are very present can like be pushed as like the main figures if you
Yeah,
wanted to make it a movie.
Roger,
But
Garp, and Whitebeard, like
I doubt.
that's.
Yeah.
And then Rox is like the
It has established characters.
mysterious.
It's not like random characters. It's like people we know. It just don't. It just wouldn't have Luffy. But I would love it. I would love it. Film rocks. That's what they've been calling it. I've been seeing that same little image floating around for so long.
I
What's
mean,
going
it's
on,
been a
Prince?
concept for years now.
Oh yeah,
What's
Prince
up,
of
y'all?
Jane character.
Yeah, but I completely agree. This Rocks movie, if they just, I don't know. I understand that, they also want to make sure they don't spoil the audience too much because they don't want to add actual material into these movies. I think the only close one was Film Red, but like with
Stampede.
Utami Canon, oh, Stampede as well.
They
But
spoil Laugh Tale. Yeah.
yeah, but I feel like other than like those two, they didn't really add like canon elements that, are actually added into the story, right? Or like from the story. It's more so just like, oh, this character is also in like One Piece, but they don't really do anything, and this is what they do in the movie per se. So I feel like if you give film Rocks the chance to just, give this light of just a quick condensed like 130 minutes of just doing everything power scaling related, Garp, Roger going off, rocks, everything. I think just a quick condensation of everything, it would be so good. I think easily better than the Demon Slayer movie, easily better than what was the other one that came out?
Chainsaw.
Yep. It would do crazy numbers easily. But yeah,
And I
I
think
just don't know
just
why
for the
Toei wouldn't
idea
go
too
for
of like One Piece never really had like a movie that was involving the canon story events. Like that on its own as like the main I guess what would be the main narrative pushing the movie. I think that would add something to it as far as hype.
That shit would be nuts.
And you got things
But,
like we in a lot of these One Piece movies, we don't really even know or care about the villain or the main characters introduced. Like some of them were cool, Shiki as like the villain, but like having
That's my
characters like
goat.
Rocks and Emu and stuff like that, where it's like legends of the verse that we all want to see, and we haven't really seen much of Emu in the anime. So I feel like, bro, just from that hype alone, it would do numbers.
shout out to Captain John, man. He's such a
That's your
fucking
boy?
bomb, bro. Nah, it sucks. I'm sorry for that randomly. I was looking at the chapter, bro.
No, you're
Okay,
good. I was
I
gonna.
was rooting for my guy. Yo. I thought he could have did something this chapter. He's still recuperating. This is ridiculous.
The boogers, bro.
Well, my
come
random
on,
thought
dog.
of this chapter was, how does Oda do these? What would you call what Garp and Roger are wearing? Their coats.
Cloaks. Their
How does
coats.
he make the
with
coats like the
armor.
coolest shit in One Piece, bro?
Bro, I'm telling you, dog. That's
The way it's
One
waving
Piece
in the wind,
trip,
like it's,
bro.
yeah.
That is all real. Like when he get, that's why Luffy at Onigashima, bro. That was the best Luffy fit. When you get that cloak with your arms not in the sleeves, that's how you know you got it, bro.
Oh yeah.
How does it stay on? That's my thing. How does it just? How does it stay on
I've
through the
always
most
thought
crazy
that.
fight?
It's
like,
always
Luffy
been
has
on his
fighting
damn
Kaido.
shoulders.
Flag.
Like, how does it
I
not
think
fall
the
off?
Marines
Flag.
actually do have like something like this that like it's like a little chain that keeps it on around their shoulders. But Roger probably just using hockey to keep it on, you know. Sticky hockey, the before we have it, yeah.
Bruh.
We gotta coin that.
This is hard though, bro. That panel where
That's
they're
crazy.
standing in front of rocks, the one like when they just stand there, not the second one. Man, that's the stuff for legends, bro. That animator is gonna be crazy.
Oh,
Yeah, in
Also,
2030.
yeah, I was about to say we're not
Gonna
getting
be
this for a
so
while.
hard,
what is
Especially
Garb's
with
coat just says justice on it?
Yeah.
I
I think
Yeah.
all of the officers have the justice cloak.
That's hard, bro.
Yeah, once you get to a
Yeah.
certain rank, right? Yeah.
It's like
It's
ensign
been like
and
that
your
for a
officer
while.
rank.
Because this is what 38 years ago. I thought that was gonna be like kind of a new thing from Aki Inu's reign, but nah, it's been like that. Yeah. I think
One
it's
thing that I think
absolute.
is one thing that I think is kind of interesting from the chapter is that Emu's talking about these new soldiers that they took a specific liking to the Giants, obviously, and they said that they needed a pliable leader.
Mhm.
And so, do we think this maybe leads into how Domi Reversi really works, because it hasn't been just outright spelled out to us? There's been a lot of theories bouncing around, and I think that's like a really loaded statement. Maybe, what do y'all think?
I think
you might be right.
that you have that's something there for sure, and I also think that did he mention the sovereign like when he was talking about Elbaf?
Yeah, and when Gunko was on Elbaf back in the present day, like 5 months ago, when they turned Dory and Brogi Domi Reversi, they specifically mentioned you are the highest point of authority on this island right now.
I wonder if Loki is like with the way his eyes were. How do we feel about the Loki ancient weapon theory?
I'm
I
open
haven't
to it.
heard it. Talk to
It's
me
just
about it.
like
I'm not familiar.
I'm assuming the last one, Uranus, right?
yeah, because I don't even. I think so. I mean, it could be Pluton, but that's a battleship. So looking at back when they were talking in Fishman Island with Roger about like the sovereigns being born or whatever. I need to pull it up, but I think that like it was like two sovereigns, and most of us assumed it was Luffy they were talking about, but
And
it could have been
Shirahoshi.
Luffy and Shirahoshi. But I think something
I
could
always
lead
thought it
to
was
that.
Shirahoshi and Momo, since Momo could control
Mhm.
what's the
Yeah, it say
uh
our sovereign will
Pluton.
soon be born, and another in a distant sea. Uh,
not
the whales
Pluton,
are
but the
delighted
elephant.
in
No.
Zanisha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The whales are delighted in anticipation of the day the two sovereigns shall meet again. So, like, they're talking about the one that should soon be born, which is Shirahoshi, but the other in a distant sea. That doesn't necessarily mean that they were saying the other one should soon be born. They could just be referring to another sovereign
Yeah.
because Loki is already alive at this point. So, if that's the case, and let's say Mosa is Shirahoshi, who Loki has been on the phone with this whole time, then I feel like that's a
Ooh.
dope way to connect that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna be so mad if Shirahoshi's Shaggy. Like I can't get behind that theory. I can't. But
Why you say that?
dude, she's a child. Like the way that Loki's having this conversation with somebody, and that's like a 60-something-year-old man. Keep in mind, I know that giants mature at a different rate, but like, bro, she's like 15, 16 or something, and he's like, I don't know. I feel like I could see the connections.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
could
is-
see the connections, but I just don't know. I feel like it could just be a completely different character. I'd prefer it be like Eris or Ida or someone that we barely know. But it feels like where do they meet? How do they get each other's snail numbers? Like there's just a lot that doesn't make sense there that
to my Loki and
I feel like
Shirahoshi?
Yeah, Loki and Shirahoshi. So I feel like it would be better if it was just another person. You know what I mean?
Before Shanks low diffed him, it could, he was on the seat. That's the only time it could have been. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot missing to piece those two together, but it's just something interesting, I think, because like JJ said, we got a lot of meat from this chapter, so you can look at
My
a
main
lot of stuff.
detractor for the Loki being tied to an ancient weapon theory is that I feel like Emu possibly already is in control of an ancient weapon based off of what we saw, what happened to Lelucia and whatnot. A lot of people are thinking that's Uranus or tied to Uranus by some means, and I could see that. I'm not sold on it, but it's obviously what is implied. But then you also look at in the flower room the first time we see Emu staring at all the pictures. We see them looking at a couple people, and Loki is not one of them. And obviously, that could just be because he didn't want to show us Loki at that point in time. But I do think that those individuals might be who are directly tied to an ancient weapon.
So Vivi,
yeah, I think that it's probably her.
But Krow, you had your Whitebeard moments. I gotta go off on Kuma, bro. Because this is just getting ridiculous now at this point.
Ridiculous?
You're telling me that Kuma has survived an encounter with Saturn and rocks in the same arc, bro. And like, how I just don't get, like, he has complete mastery over his devil fruit on the first time he ever used it, and he's like, what, like 8 years old?
Because he's the goat, right?
He's a buccaneer,
bro. Loki was a baby. Loki was 5 minutes old and was taking out full-grown giants. And this is an 8-year-old. Come on,
Big
man.
Mom was 6 and she killed the captain
They said
of the giant
Kuma
warrior
saved like
pirates,
500 people at God Valley. That's just ridiculous.
Odin was
to me, bro.
3 years old, causing a ruckus in Wano. Like, come on, give it to Kuma. He deserves it. That's the GOAT.
Yeah, and the fact that the 500th person was a Blackbeard was shocking to me. But hey, that's a dub.
I give him the credit because, like, it's quick thinking, bro. He's like, he's saving Eris and Blackbeard, and then he's like, oh, I'm gonna just teleport myself. But I was like, bro, for the fact for him to think of that on the spot where he's fighting against rocks is just like wild to me.
It is. But I saw some like very funny and kind of sad slander that, like, although Kuma did save him, it did go on to the fact that Blackbeard would pretty much almost essay his daughter in like 20 years from now. So
I mean, if we the transitive property, Kuma is the reason Ace is dead.
Yeah.
Like, that is true. That is true.
It had to happen. It had to happen.
Yeah, actually, that is true. I feel like Ace was like an inevitability. I feel like
Ace was a martyr that we needed.
Yeah, just very stubborn. There was no way he wasn't going to die out. Like even
are we seriously are we gonna say that Kuma's quick enough to react to rocks?
Bro, it's just reaching, touching your chest, bro. I feel like it's possible.
This guy's leaping in the air to save Eris.
I mean, you got to think about it. Rox is facing an internal struggle, though. He's not wanting to swing that sword.
That's true.
So, like, he had a level of control to be able to have the conversation he was having while still being like demonified.
Oh yeah.
So like where did he send Eris and teach? I didn't mean to cut you off. I was reading. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's just it might not have been like a full swing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Also, when's the last time we've seen the voice of all things being like used, like actively?
Emmett?
I think that it was Emmett, and also
yeah, it was Emmett.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that it's extremely wild that like out of all times, now is the time where like it's just being directly used. And
Wano and Emmett, right?
Emmett, Wano.
Nisha was using it with Momo, and Luffy was using it with Momo when he was telling him he's fine or something, right?
He told him move that island.
Yeah. And I mean,
so I'm trying to think of other
instances. I'm not trying to do the thing. I'm not doing the thing. I'm not doing it.
Fishman Island and do we consider the first time being Mary, or like would we consider it being Fishman Island?
Yes, I feel like it probably was Fishman Island. But
I think everybody heard Mary.
Yeah,
Mary, yeah.
when Luffy first went Gear 5 and Sanji woke up out of his sleep, y'all think that was just him detecting the hockey, or was that him feeling Luffy's presence through that? Because he woke up
Sanji?
Yeah.
and knew it was Luffy.
I think it might have been his hockey.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not doing the thing. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm saying Sanji can only detect damsels in distress. We know that.
It just felt very intentional that Sanji was the first one to wake up from being passed out from his fight and just get up and scream like Luffy, you know what I'm saying?
He's got the
That's just
fastest
because of his
reaction time.
observation. Yeah.
He dodged the jelly beans, so it's very possible.
Oh my god. But can he dodge a booger? But can
Bro,
he
I
dodge a
swear,
booger?
you're holding
I
on
hope
to
he
this jelly
can.
bean feet like a +4 in Uno, bro. Like, this is wild.
Did dodge a booger is the question. That's sad stuff, man.
Hey,
All right, so let's talk about a very interesting discussion. Who is the final villain of One Piece, man? Is it Blackbeard or is it Emu? I'm asking y'all one by one. JJ, how you feeling? Blackbeard or Emu?
Blackbeard is the final villain once he usurps Emu's power.
All right,
I've always said from the beginning, I feel like it's going to be just how we got it here. It's going to be a triple threat match: Emu versus Blackbeard versus Luffy. Blackbeard and Luffy are going to defeat Emu. Blackbeard's going to take advantage of Emu to get his power, and then Luffy's hockey is going to transcend everything.
I'm not mad at it. I love it. What about you, Vex? Who you got?
I always thought it was Blackbeard, and I thought that Emu would be like a dragon fight, or Dragon and Sabo, and it would be a war on two different fronts that maybe had some overlap in the Venn diagram. But the way that this flashback is framing it, I can now more significantly see Emu being the final threat. But I like what JJ was saying also. I quit trying to predict Oda at this point, man. I don't know, man. This man's wild, but I think for Luffy specifically, Blackbeard makes more sense because Luffy doesn't even know what the hell Emu is. But maybe that changes when we get back to Elbaf present day. But for the world at large, obviously Emu makes more sense now. But that's still a recent development, and I can't speak truthfully on it without I feel like recency bias, you know.
Preach, you want to move Prince? It looked like he's trying to sneak up on me.
He's chilling. Yeah, he's just chilling.
He's in the cut.
just chill in the back, man.
Preach, what you looking like, man? Blackbeard.
Hey, man, I've been on the Blackbeard agenda for a long time, bro. I do think Blackbeard will be the final villain. It's just a matter of. I think Rocks in this chapter kind of hinted towards it. He's like, who are you more afraid of, Davy or Joy Boy? And so I think that's going to be maybe Luffy. I think Luffy will bring down a lot of what Emu has created, especially with his alliance and everything. But I think as an actual villain, Blackbeard, same thing with JJ, he's going to take his power and maybe take his devil fruit, whatever. I don't know how it's going to work out. And then, Blackbeard will be the last one standing as far as a villain goes. And he might be the strongest. He might be stronger than Emu at that point. I also like the idea of what Rox is saying here is going to come back, and we're going to see that fear for Emu.
Yeah. Is Zane here, or is he speaking? Okay. Anyway, all right. I gotta go with Blackbeard too, man. I'm looking at a lot of people are saying. I think we as One Piece fans sometimes take parallels too extreme, and I'm saying that as the Sanji upscale guy, whatever. But Rocks lost to Emu, so that means Blackbeard got lost to Emu. I think sometimes you gotta look at parallels and understand when the parallel is a diversion or when the parallel is pointing to another direction. Because if anything, from this encounter with Emu and Rocks, I'm feeling like the fact that Davy was originally the king of the world, however true that was, tells me that Blackbeard is going to be the one to take his place back on that throne from Emu, right? And at the same time, it's Rocks didn't work because his plan wasn't finished. But Blackbeard is going to finish his plan. And you don't just introduce Blackbeard's father to have such a robust plan and have it ruined, just to also introduce Blackbeard and then do the exact same thing. I feel like I'm agreeing with JJ with the three-way fight, the Blackbeard, Emu versus Luffy joint. I think Blackbeard probably takes an early L in that fight, and Luffy fights Emu and gets the better of Emu. But at the end, Blackbeard comes in and takes his power, and they get away. And then we come back full circle to the final battle being Blackbeard versus Luffy. But I'm not really sold on Emu being the final villain because at the end of the day, the clash of ideals will be the different concepts of freedom. Because once you get freedom, you still gotta understand what kind of freedom the world needs. Not chaotic freedom, but a just and fair freedom where everybody can live their own life of freedom. And it's not just about who has the most power. You know what I'm saying?
And as much as I love the story of One Piece, I feel like, well, as far as like the plot of the world history, I feel like that's not really Luffy's story. Like, it is part of Joy Boy's story, but I feel like the story more of One Piece for Luffy is a story about pirates and finding the One Piece and becoming king. I feel like Blackbeard is the one guy standing in front of him, standing in his way. Like Emu, I feel like that's more of like a dragon story, world government, revolutionary. Where like Blackbeard and Luffy from the very beginning were always, parallels but also opposites. There's a lot more a story there for Luffy. So I always felt like Blackbeard was more of the end game villain for Luffy.
My bad. Prince, did you get a chance? Did I ask you?
Oh, I was gonna say I was cool.
Behind my
But,
character, man, it was hard to see you, bro.
so I don't, yeah, it is. I was thinking, Oda has constantly been saying this final war like is gonna be the greatest thing like ever. Marineford is gonna look like a cakewalk, this and that. So I just been thinking how Marineford looked, and it was a marathon if you really think about it, right? Constantly testing Luffy every single second, like he has to either be attacking someone or moving up a certain level. So I'm just been thinking that like throughout this entire story, everything has constantly been a race. Race to the One Piece, race for poneglyphs, race to understand the entire world. So I think that it'll get to a point where the identity of the throne itself is exposed, right? It gets to the point where everyone in the world knows who Yimu is, knows that there is one king in the world, and at that point, it flips the switch of, there is a king in the world to I want to be the king of the world. So it's just throne wars from that point, and it's a like battle royale for like this throne, so to speak. That's where Blackbeard comes in. All these pirates from this old school pre-time skip era come in, and then Luffy as
Stelly.
well. Stelly, damn. What a shout.
Stelly's gonna be there, gunning for the throne.
Imagine. But all I'm trying to say is that I think that because of this, like, it's just so much focus on the throne that Emu would absolutely hate it, and that's where things go berserk. And then we see this Three Worlds panel come in with the third world, everybody joining in to fight Emu, this gigantic beast of a creature. And then what I think is most telling is that with Rox's words being, who do you fear most? Is it uh, Davy or is it Joy Boy? So I think like in a sense it's kind of asking like in the future, take Blackbeard and Luffy for example, do you fear someone coming for your throne, like someone taking your position and you're just gone? Or do you fear your position not even existing? Like imagine Luffy figuring out that, Emu exists, is at the top of the world. There is one king controlling everything. And like he's the reason, or they're the reason for pretty much everything going like off in the world. He would be fucking pissed. So I think it's more so of a do you want to be replaced or do you want to not even exist to the point where there is no kings anymore? I think that's the question with Davy and Joy Boy. So I'm excited. I can't predict what Oda can think or what he'll do, but I think if it goes along that line, it's just pandemonium from that point, which is also what Rox's move is. But who knows?
By the way, everybody in here like the stream. Share the stream as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
But yeah, Prince, I see what you're saying, bro. There's just the thing with Oda is like he can really find a way to tie everything together. There's so much in One Piece, how you said, like it's gonna be making Marineford look like a cakewalk. I mean, there's so many different angles to take the final war. And it's like the more we get to see of Rocks and Emu and all these things, it is getting kind of harder to predict because then you still got Shanks. Like, how does Shanks fit into all this? Is he going to fight Figureland? Like, there's just so many ways that Oda could take these fights and these alliances and just so there's so many characters at play. What about Cross Guild? Because I mean, Cross Guild is supposed to be the enemy of the Marines right now. So are they going to be also teaming up with Dragon? Like, I wouldn't say like a full alliance, but they might be going after admirals or whoever. So I don't know, bro. There's just a lot of ways that Oda could take this.
Dragon and Mihawk is a crazy duo.
It's not happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, like no one's. I don't think I've seen many people say this, but what about Mihawk versus Akainu? Like, we all want to see Dragon and Akainu or Kuzan and Akainu, but what about that? Like, we never would have predicted that, but until Cross Guild happened, then it's like, I don't know, bro. I need to see Mihawk fight an admiral.
I'm gonna come
The
clean.
off-screen
I think
king.
that outside of like maybe Green Bull, Cross Guild exists just to give Mihawk a reason to be around for Zoro final fight. Like, I don't think like that there's gonna be anything where it's like they got to take out any more. Like I said, maybe Green Bull, right? But I think Cross Guild just it's like a vehicle to drive Mihawk to like wherever the final fight is, and whether it be a lodestar or whatever.
Yeah,
That's not.
look,
That's
I'm not
not
saying.
I think it's more
I'm not
about
saying
Buggy.
Mihawk, or I'm not saying it has to be a full
I mean, Buggy,
on.
yeah, Buggy, but Buggy's not. I
Like,
don't
at the
think Buggy-
They're
very
propping Buggy
least,
up.
Be the
I gotta
king.
see Mihawk and him clash with like Fujitora or Akainu, and they're like, "Hey man, you've been causing us a lot of trouble with the Marines, with Cross Guild." So I just need to see a clash or some kind of confrontation. It doesn't have to be a full on fight, but it has to be something like right.
No,
Sengoku
bro.
said,
Mihawk fans won't survive another clash, bro.
Well, Mihawk
We
survived
won't, bro.
with the clash.
I gotta see, bro.
Oh my
The thing
God.
is, like, Sengoku clearly said, Cross Guild is the #1 enemy of the Marines.
Bro, we can't trust
Yeah.
nothing that come out Sengoku mouth, bro. Come on.
You're
Nothing.
right. When you look
Why
at
not?
Why not?
What annoy me? People are like, well, this chapter kind of proves that Sengoku wasn't lying. He knew what he's talking about, bro. That's the most the. How can you deliver a story with the least amount of context possible and act like,
Well,
he was actually telling
you
the
got to
truth?
think
Like,
of the
No, you want
context.
to know why? Because he was so shit and he wasn't there. That's why.
Well, no, you got to think of the context. If he told what really happened to these fodder Marines, they'd be executed. Like,
well, yeah,
he
and I
can't-
agree with that. I understand that, but that just goes with the point that he was not
Yeah.
being, truthful.
he's not a
about.
reliable
Yeah,
narrator, but
So that's
I
why, like,
do
everybody
think
was like, he was actually telling the truth. Like, bro, yes,
I do think he's
Ron said-
knowledgeable, but I think he's in a position where he can't share that knowledge, especially with us. That's a way to build dramatic irony within the narrative. But like, if you look at what
Let's
Buggy
just-
has always been shown to do since Marineford, is he galvanizes the masses, and Cross Guild is doing exactly that. Normal, everyday people are standing up to the systemic oppression across the world in the form of, hunting the Marines. It's like a Who Watches the Watchmen type of shit. And Buggy's just the poster child that's there. But inevitably, because Oda loves Buggy and gags and memes,
Yeah.
Buggy's gonna be the king of the pirates. Because Luffy
Yeah.
is a stepping stone. It's a stepping stone for Luffy. His real dream is beyond that. So he's gonna give it to Buggy.
Right now, when
Not
y'all
just
see
that,
him
but
switch
do you think
to the
how would
biggest One
Buggy
Piece hater
react
count
when
ever,
he sees the
If that ever happens, Crow, you gotta react to that chapter, bro.
bro?
No, that would be the worst chapter Oda could
I
ever
promise
drop, bro.
you,
It's
Oda
gonna
would
happen,
have
y'all.
Yeah,
enemy-
come.
I would
No,
be
bro.
his greatest enemy for the rest of my life.
Bro, that
But
is
the
no.
thing is-
Luffy has to get that title, bro.
Bro.
Well, he
He
can
has
get
to.
it, but then he'll just pawn it off.
He
Like,
will.
it's not like
No.
he's not trying to hold
But
it.
it's not something you like pawn off though.
No.
It's like something the public gives you. The
If
public
Buggy gets the
consensus of
fucking
everybody is
title as
being the
king
pirate
of
king.
pirates, my
Honestly
nigga,
speaking, I think that they'll.
You know
I
what's
see
funny
what
too? It's
Vex
like
is
that would
saying.
also ruin like the whole Roger hype too. Like, you know how much,
Yeah.
you know how
Buggy-
bad that would look for Roger.
That would. I
Bro,
mean, to
that
be
is
fair,
a massive
it's
Buggy
already
upscale.
a fake pirate king, but
I'd be cool.
Buggy
with
is Roger
Blackbeard
level.
doing it before that. I'm like, bro, I promise you, Oda, like, you playing with fire, my boy. I'm telling you, I won't rest.
Listen,
the whole world.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind if Buggy helped in the final war and like he was considered
Is
up there.
intricate.
It was hinted in
Yeah.
Stampede.
No, I think legitimately what's gonna happen when
man.
you look at Smoker and Alabasta, like he got the credit, but the Straw Hats actually did the thing. So it's like maybe it's gonna be like that. Like Luffy is going to be Pirate King effectively, but maybe Buggy is the
Like why
face.
can
That
Buggy? Why
element.
does he have to be
No,
like? I don't
stop
understand.
it,
Why,
bro.
can Buggy just be the king of the underworld? Like why
No,
can't?
no, hold
Why
on,
he
hold
can't
on.
just
Let
find
me
Captain
That's not his
John's
destiny.
treasure?
Bro,
Yeah,
It's
let
the
me-
most I would
destiny.
say is Buggy
I-
getting Captain John's treasure and lying that is the One Piece. That's I would accept that. But
I'd
if
find that
Luffy
too.
is not
could
the
also-
king of the pirates to not just himself, but the world, what was the first two words? Wealth, fame, and power. If you don't got all three of those coming from being the king of the pirates, then I'm telling you, bro.
Well,
I
look,
will
with Buggy,
make a trip to
I don't
Japan.
think if like let's say he lies about something.
Buggies would be different though.
Usually, Buggy,
Like,
it's not
his
it's not
would
him
have
lying. It's like
anything to
somebody creates the lie for him and he just runs with it.
Yeah.
So like it's
And,
just,
and Luffy would embody that as a person, but Buggy has that in 3 separate areas. He has that with Crocodile, him, and Mihawk.
And
So
that's
it's
why
not
he
like
can't be the king. He doesn't. If you got to rely
exactly.
on
That's what I'm
niggas around
saying.
you,
Hey,
Look.
shout out to Willow Dreams in the comment section. Undeserving people are elected to positions of power all the time. Go Buggy.
Damn.
Hey,
look.
Oh my
it-
god.
if that ain't
Crow,
pretty, I
your
don't know
real
what
enemy
is.
is not
I
going to be Buggy at
mean,
that point.
he's
It's going to
cooking.
be Morgan's because Morgan's has
it's
the
gonna be
power
Oda.
to
No,
kind
it's
of.
gonna be Oda.
It's gonna be
Don't say
Oda,
no
but
character.
Facts.
No
Facts.
story. It's gonna be Oda and
What-
Shonen
I have a
Jump
question.
But let's
manga.
say Morgan's has the power to sway kind of the public opinion, right? Like it's up to him really to decide who is Pirate King.
Man, look.
Bro, Morgan's is low key the
that
most
is true.
powerful person in One
Yes, sir.
Piece, bro.
Oda,
He is, bro.
Oda
Yuma's
makes
Monopoly
these
is insane.
decisions, bro.
Besides
Let's stop
Emu,
doing
obviously.
this shit to Oda character, bro. Oda does it through the characters. If this nigga makes Buggy the king of the pirates in the story, I'm telling you, bro, I will not rest. I will. If when I die, I will haunt Oda for the rest. It's
Oh
not
my God.
his family. It
Listen,
doesn't
though.
matter, bro. I'm not
Crow,
going,
listen.
We making a trip
Crow.
to Japan, Crow?
Listen, there's
Yes.
a way that Oda can make this make sense. If it's just as is, if none of the pieces move on the board and nothing changes in between now and then, I'm with you. But there's still a lot of time. You know, we got like at least 5 more years. You know, we
Yeah,
got like
at least 5 is
3
good.
more
That's
Yamato
the
cover
thing,
stories
like-
worth of material to get through. You know, like there's
Shoot,
plenty
I might
of work
drop
that
it from
could be
that too.
done. There's plenty of work that could be done.
I can make it there because that Yamato.
Why can't we get like a prominent cover story? Like, why can't we get like a Doflamingo in prison, like Shonen go through Impel Down?
I think Kobe should have
Stuff
been
like that.
the default cover story.
Y'all don't like
throughout the
Perona
whole-
hunting rabbits?
Yeah,
Oh.
this was actually a very fun request. I like this request.
It
But, like, I
was.
feel like
It definitely
Kobe
was.
should have been like the default. Like if there's nothing specifically he has to tell us, then let's watch what Kobe is doing. But if I want to go into somebody's story, I will. Because like I feel like we could have got a lot more out of Kobe doing this story. It would make his eventual stature at the end of the world. I mean, at the end of the story, make more sense if we just saw more progression from him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It would have been cool if he split off in like certain sections of the story and saw him training with Garp or them going on missions.
I mean, they
That'd
already
been pretty
did a little bit in like in pre-timescape. I just wish post-timescape would have, done the same thing.
Show
But
me
like
Stelly.
full drawn out.
Speaking of
That's the thing
Stelly,
that makes
I can't wait to see Stelly
like-
get Dami reversed.
Oh my god.
You turn into a good person.
Y'all ain't to a good person.
Turns into
Hey, bro,
Sabo.
they're saying Zoro might get dummy reversed. He didn't beat up Luffy.
No, bro.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm
Word on the
thinking.
street.
Yeah, his only
That's all I'm
chance. of being
saying.
Oh,
good-
bro, please, bro. And then we
Yeah.
have to deal with the worst theory of all time. No, bro, please.
Zoro has
Need
no
it.
ZKI.
chance.
ZKI.
ZKI.
He can get
Oh my
dumb
God.
reverse and take the steroids that Hody Jones had. He's still not fucking beating up Luffy, bro. He don't got it, bro. His weight classes.
All right, come on. Come on now. Yeah, he's in that weight class. He has advanced conquerors hockey. That's
got
the weight
Yonko.
class Luffy's in.
Does he? Does he even know that?
hmm
Nah,
You got
see,
Yonko?
nah. With this, like these chapters, it's clearly being shown that like Luffy is going to be in a weight class by himself. If
Like, what's this
Rocks,
nigga clashing
Garp,
with
Roger,
Lucci?
Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido can't figure out how to damage Emu, then obviously if Luffy's gonna figure it out, he needs to be in a tier by himself.
But
Well, the thing about it, he's gonna have to fight with people, bro.
True.
Like this isn't gonna be a just
though.
Luffy battle.
Luffy thing, yeah.
We still
And
have
that's been the
time.
premise since day one.
We still have time to see a situation where the Roger and Garps right now figure out how to damage Emu, because Gabon was talking certain, like he know, like you need to watch how you're using your Conqueror's Eye.
Yeah.
So
I
that
think
has to
Roger
come from a
figures
place of
something out.
knowledge. So, yeah, Roger has to figure it out.
I think
Because I'm
he
assuming,
might,
like
but
the way you hurt the Holy Knights has to be linked to the way you hurt Emu, but just with much stronger hockey. I mean, I think that's a fair assumption.
I think
So
it's
From
the
what
abyss.
Gabon was saying, all
Like, it
you
has to deal with the abyss.
pretty much all Gabon was saying was you just need to refine your hockey more.
I mean, he was
So
just
maybe they're
saying,
just
like,
not
watch how you use it.
concentrating it enough.
Yeah, they're not. They're using it. They're attacking them with normal attacks, the way they would attack anybody else with their Conqueror's hockey. But you have to be mindful. That's his exact word. Be mindful of how you're using it. So
Yeah.
if he is obviously, if he's very knowledgeable about how to do it, then it has to come from a place of experience. So they're
Bro,
gonna
Prince-
You know what's kind of crazy?
Prince-
We're
Yeah,
going
what's
down
up,
the hockey beam theory route.
Hey man, listen.
Oh my God.
Shaggy,
No.
this is for you.
Listen, Prince was talking earlier about the movies potentially containing kernels of relevance. Like Film Red had a little bit, it basically kind of spoiled a pseudo Gear 5, and then like we got the last
and the
tail
Fingerling
reveal.
stuff.
And and like that. So there's what if there's a little bit more to that potentially when we had the Uta world in Film Red? What if that is something equivalent to like the Abyss? What if the real form of Emu is still in the Abyss? This is just like a Gecko Moria doppelman, which I've seen a few theories about this. Dak just put a video out about the Gecko Moria stuff, but like I've been saying for years, it all ties back to Thriller Bark. But if it also partially ties into Film Red, and you have to, if someone has to go into the Abyss, and you have to take out so like I think there's a lot that could happen here that maybe could make sense as to what they're currently doing. Because if Gabon isn't able to just completely take out somebody with his level of hockey, you know, I don't know. I think that it's something that Roger isn't fully capable of doing. It's something that obviously Garp isn't fully capable of doing.
Something Blackbeard and Luffy could do.
Well, and we know pocket dimensions are in the story, like the mirror world, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it might be that.
And that's interesting too, Krow.
Yeah, I could see it.
Last week, Krow was like, "Well, I think," because I was like, "Bro, we need to see." We keep seeing this silhouette, but then he made me realize this is probably Emu's form.
That is just what Emu looks like, bro.
Yeah. So, but that would also make sense why Emu wants to be hidden from the world. Like he's not even human. He's like this shadow being. His real body, I guess, would be somewhere else.
If you look back at Usopp versus Perona, whenever she did the astral projection thing, I'm bringing more back to Thriller Bark.
I mean, it's really relevant.
You weren't able to actually damage the ghost image, like the astral projection of Perona. You had to go and find her somewhere else. So I'm thinking this has been set up
kind of like a Nagato,
a really long time.
Like Nagato.
I think another thing, though,
like,
as far as like we still don't have a definite answer on like what Roger or what Gabon could do with a Holy Knight. Because if you think about it, it's very convenient and it's definitely intentional. There hasn't been really one setting where somebody can just have an extended fight with a Holy Knight. It's always been like something pressing where they just had to damage them for the time being. If they did get
the Admiral nerf.
Yeah, it was like something convenient. So like, let's say, for example, with Gabon as it is and Summers, if Gabon had to just sit down and fight Summers, and it was like, you know, a fight to the death, we're pretty confident that Gabon could kill him, right? Are we like, even though they can heal, I feel like there's a limit. If strong hockey slows down the healing, then at some point
it comes down to stamina. It just comes down to stamina at that point. Like Gabon is an old man at this point. Let's be real. He's gonna be able to knock him down 1,000 times, but is he gonna be able to do it 1,000,000? And that's what the Holy Knights are being set up to. They're set up to be this unrelenting thing. Even if you just prevent how long they regenerate, that doesn't mean it's gonna stop it. We haven't gotten that yet in the story. You know.
I think it's like a stamina bar. Like, let's say, I know most of y'all probably don't play 2K, but like a video game stamina bar in general, like you start at 100, and let's say if you drive that stamina bar down to 0, then you're only able to go back up to 95 when you're fully healed, right? You can't get back to 100. Then you go back down to 0 again. You can only get back up to like
Maybe.
85. Like you keep chipping away at it. I think that's like what it would take to beat the Holy Knights, and that's why he hasn't had one of them in just a straight 1v1 fight with like a lot of time yet to get really chipped down, because we're really, we really just not getting like the idea of how to even hurt him. So yeah.
Well, it looks like you
No,
can
I
completely
agree with that.
overpower him fast too, like how Rocks did Garland.
And like, let's say
Like,
Garland,
he did
like,
it pretty
could heal
quick.
from that. He could heal from that, but he's not going back to 100%. He's just healing from it.
And the stronger your
And it
hockey,
just
the more
heals
stamina
on,
it drains.
And
we
the
mentioned
more and more
how
it gets killed, it probably,
we mentioned how if Rocks, we mentioned how if Roger and Garp weren't able to do it, maybe Luffy and Blackbeard are. And I think it's interesting because we were talking about pocket dimensions earlier again, and my mind can't help but draw the connection to the Q&A. It wasn't an SBS or a Viva card. It was a Q&A when Oda answered some stuff near the end of Egghead. And one of them was about Luffy pulling out the baseball bat and the paint and the goggles from his hair and stuff like that. And he said it's like the entrance to Nika's dream or his fantasy. Yeah, so
that was after Wano, right? Or was it Egghead? I thought
it was an Egghead. Because
that was also what he did. It was about Garling, and then the other one about the Divine Departure and stuff.
Yeah. So each of those 10 questions, he could have just answered those in a SBS, but he chose to put them specifically in that Q&A, and I feel like they are going to be a lot more important, and they all involve individuals, more or less, who are on that double spread where it shows the 12 people whenever they talk about whoever gets the one at the end of Vegapunk's speech, like whoever gets the One Piece will decide the fate of the world. And we also see that Blackbeard obviously has access to a pocket dimension of his own when he is able to suck things in with the black hole and whatnot. So like, what if Blackbeard is able to somehow access like the abyss, this same exact abyss that Emu and the God's Knights are using,
Looking
potentially?
heavily, because this is exactly why I think it might be the reason why, but I think there's a specific reason as to why Blackbeard got the fruit. He wouldn't kill his crewmate, he wouldn't do all these things, wait for 30, 40 years and stay in Whitebeard's crew like a bum just for like one specific fruit to not be extremely overpowered and have a specific reason. So I think this flashback might show the reason as to why, or like maybe some research they do like on Emu specifically after seeing everything. Maybe his mom Eris helps him out. Like there's got to be some reason as to why he's like, okay.
I think
I think
it's because the fruit can either one of the two things: contain Emu's powers and use it on the person that contains it, like they can use it, or hold on, bro, I went blank. Or he could use it to steal away Emu. Which, if you look at the fruit and compare it to Emu's powers that we've seen, it's like they're pretty identical, bro. The only difference is Blackbeard is able to like seal things, like those buildings in that town he took away, and then brought them back. They were all destroyed. Like it seems like he also has a pocket dimension like Emu. So
I think it could be just a backdoor to the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's probably it's gonna be like Kakashi with the Sharingan, right?
Yeah, the Kamui dimension. Yeah,
similar situation to that where
I can see that.
That's probably why Zebek wanted that fruit, because that is his biggest.
Well, he mentioned two fruits,
and the Nika fruit can counter Emu
exactly
physically.
And my question is, was his plan to eat both of those fruits, or was he? So we know he was talking about the fruit at Elbaf, right? But was that one of the two fruits that he needed?
Well, he mentioned that one of them was particularly important in Harold's hands. So I think he wanted Harold to be his Luffy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the Joy Boy fruit.
Because if I'm remembering the wording correctly, because they did believe that the legendary devil fruit on Elbaf was the Nika fruit. That he specifically mentioned it is most particularly important to him in the hands of Harold.
Oh,
instead of just in a void, you know what I mean?
Yo, what if they've thought that this devil fruit that Loki has, or that Dave had for so long, that Harold was supposed to have, like, was with them, and then when Shanks comes in, he just quickly swaps and then just dips. Because Shanks knows the entire story with Roger and everything, so he knows what to do, but it just hasn't been to Laugh yet. So then he went all the way down, and then that's where the whole, like he wanted to give it to Ace, but he couldn't, and then Luffy ate it first. So do we see something there, or is that completely different? Because there's also the world government ship, no? So how does that tie in with? I don't know. There's a lot of things.
Do you think does Harold know about Emu? Like when
At this
did Rox
point,
tell him?
He's
I think
got
he
it.
might.
He's
Probably.
got it.
Yeah, because I feel like
He
because
he
Rox
definitely
was
knows,
trying to
bro.
recruit him
Like,
for
it
so
was
long. I
Lord.
feel like in that one time when they fought, he probably told him.
Yeah.
My idea is if you're going to pass down stories of Nika, it's not just like, yeah, Nico existed. You have to tell stories of what he did. And Emu or Davy could have appeared in those stories as well. You know what I'm saying?
I think that Harold, if he knows about Emu, I'm sure because the meetings that we saw between Rox and Harold was not everything. There was more context there. We didn't get shown every single interaction they ever had. We just got shown like the peak moments, right? But I don't understand why Rox wouldn't tell Harold if he knew that Harold's whole prerogative was to get in line with the world government. So I think
And
that
the same
Harold is
thing.
aware but willfully ignorant, because that's a whole trait he has, is he is painted to be somebody who's ignorant of the evils of the world government.
Yeah, and I
And in
mean
the same
the
thing,
way
he's
that
trying
they
to recruit him to join. So like,
Yeah.
if you're recruiting him to join you, you're telling him why you need him, right?
You gotta.
and
Yeah.
I
I'm
think
just very
just because of how
interested.
they
Oh, my
met,
bad.
it's like Rox sees it
And
as kind of faded in a sense where the time when he went to go confront Emu, that's when he met Harold. So I feel like in that sense, it's like, oh well, he was there since the beginning. I might as well
bro,
tell him.
Harold was the only person that Rox told he was going for his family. He definitely told him about Emu.
Yep.
For sure.
Like they had a deep conversation
See, I'm just very
about that. So yeah, I
interested
definitely agree.
to see how Rox knows everything, because I think the whole like character trait of his is that he's seen as this like crazy like pirate that, oh, like what the hell is he doing? He doesn't like really have any rationality. But I just think that he just knows the entire like depth of One Piece lore, and he's just trying to speedrun everything, but everyone just doesn't understand. So I'm trying to figure out
So
why he knows what he knows and how did he figure it out.
so my question for y'all is, do y'all think Eris knows the full story?
100%.
Yes.
I think so.
100%.
And do y'all think that had an effect on Blackbeard's development?
Yes.
Has to. It 100% has to, because there's 10 years of a gap in between what we last see when Kuma sends him and Ares out and when he actually joins Whitebeard's crew. He doesn't do that till he's 12. He's 2 in this flashback, which means there's a lot of time where he has to. We see the SBS drawing of him staring at the moon. And before he even joins Whitebeard's crew, he's already knowledgeable of this master plan, and he's waiting for 20 something years to get the Yami, and he has his whole ulterior motive all along. That needs to be instilled in him in that 10-year gap. And Ares, I feel like it makes the most sense. You know what
I
I mean?
Not
agree.
just that,
And
if
I
you look
don't
at
like
the chapter, you see like Rox, as soon as he turns like Dami Reversi, Eris looks at him, he's back, he looks, and then immediately she's able to make the like connection and then say that like, oh, you lost, and then like it's our fault, my bad, you weren't ready yet. So if she knew that he wasn't ready or like couldn't face Emu yet, that means there was a conversation that Rox would face Emu eventually, which means she knows.
Yeah, I mean, and the way
So,
Yep.
the way Blackbeard talks about certain things is similar to Roger and Rox, where he's like, when he meets Luffy, it's like this is destined. Same thing with Ace. Same thing with like the Devil Fruit. Like he has like a twisted perception of it, but I think that's probably coming from his mother. She probably told him like the Davy clan are the natural enemy of Emu. You're destined to fight him at some point. But I think also with Whitebeard too, even though Ares probably told Blackbeard some things about like how Rocks died and certain things, but I think also Whitebeard he's there witnessing everything. At some point, I mean Whitebeard is basically a father figure to Blackbeard, so he probably told him a lot of stuff too. Maybe in
Yeah,
like the drunken moments where he's
yeah,
talking
he
about
do be
the
yapping.
Lunarians and yeah, so I think Whitebeard probably did tell him a few things about Rocks and Emu as well.
Yeah. Also, I
I
was
imagine the
rewatching.
Davy crew.
Oh my bad. Go ahead, JJ.
I would just say I would also imagine, wherever Eris gets teach to eventually would be somewhat like God Valley in regards to having another Davy clan for him to be able to get some information too. We know that Blackbeard's a big student of history. I would imagine, seeing something like that and then being able to be around this clan or being raised by this clan, knowing that we're basically like a black note in the history of time, that's going to want to make him learn more about that. So I would say like his past also made him become the person he is with, his wanting the knowledge of everything as well.
See, I think it comes from a place where I don't even think Blackbeard wants to learn history. He is history. Like Robin wants to learn history and understand what happened in the Void Century and all the people from O'Hara as well. But like, if um Blackbeard is from the Davy clan, like he is the history that is getting actively erased. So he has no choice but to be like, all right, I need to learn everything. I need to understand who I am, where I come from, how I can bring things back, and how I can like really, tell the world or figure out how to expose this cruelty to light. So there's a lot.
So, what do you think was Davy Jones' promise to defeat Emu? Become king of the
Think it's
world? Like, was
similar
it that
to
simple?
Get back at
At
the top of the
first,
world.
Yeah.
at
Defeat
first,
the
I thought it
world.
was about his first promise to him in the flower room, and I saw deeper context when the officials came out, and now it makes
I
me think
think
it was something in the past, obviously to
yeah,
do with
it
Davy and
reminds
Joy
me
Boy.
of yeah, Joy Boy's promise was to the previous Poseidon, and I'm thinking it might be maybe a parallel or an inversion to that in some form.
Hmm.
Because when we look at like Luffy and Blackbeard, they're clearly set up to be inverse, like foil characters to each other archetypically, like with the whole lemonade and cherry pie scene in Jaya. So maybe it isn't a 1-to-1 with Joy Boy and the previous Poseidon's promise. Maybe it's like a flipping of that. So I think that it probably has some sort of meaning there that ties to events in the Void Century, and we won't get deeper context or like hard confirming of it for until we get more from the Void Century. But I definitely was right there with Zane. I thought it was him talking about when he was in the flower room, but I'm no longer on that train.
I think it's probably a bit of both. I mean, it's definitely something with the original Davy Jones will and what he promised to probably to Emu or someone involved in that war. But I think also the flower room is like the extension of it. Like he's there telling him, yeah, like we're here to fulfill Davy Jones' will. So I think it's a bit of both.
Yeah, that's a good point.
What I'm
Now that I think
focusing
about it.
on is that if y'all remember the three worlds panel, where they go in each world, they go, they did not meet, like at the very end of each description. And then happens in the first world. They say they do not meet in the second world. And then in the third world is surely they do meet this time. And then even when the Sea Kings are like talking, like voice of all things and stuff, they're always asking like, oh, like when will they appear, or the sovereigns, when will
The
they
two
meet?
sovereigns.
Yeah. So and then I'm thinking about the promise with Joy Boy and Poseidon. So I'm thinking it's some kind of an encounter between two specific people. Might be Poseidon Loki, or might be just two other figures. Who knows? Maybe it's like Luffy and Blackbeard in their final forms. It could be anything. But I think it's the idea of two figures of like One Piece lore coming together to figure something out.
It would be interesting
And they
too.
couldn't do it the first two times.
Vex, you said it's like an inversion. So Luffy or Joy Boy's message could have been more about like saving the fisherman saving his allies and like liberation,
Bringing them to the surface.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then Davy Jones's promise is about like destruction and destroying Emu, and more about like taking down the celestial dragons, the kings. So I think it could be like kind of a flip in that sense of just how their
Oh, that's
message is.
perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Destruction of the
because
Red
Yeah.
Line.
if you're bringing someone who's beneath the red line to sea level in one promise, and the inversion of that is bringing somebody who's above the red line down to sea level, like like an evening out, like that would be. I think that would be sick, actually.
that would make
Also, I've
sense
been
too with
thinking about
Luffy
it.
and
I
Blackbeard. Like,
wonder-
Luffy doesn't really care about going after Emu specifically. He's more interested in saving his friends. So it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense, like how their personality types. Blackbeard, Blackbeard's like, he's plotting something where he wants to take over the world and destroy everything. And then like with his devil fruit too, with Whitebeard's devil fruit now, that's another representation of like pure destruction, bro. Because they said that fruit could destroy the world.
You can literally shake oceans with that fruit, bro.
I feel like right
Man.
now the most
You
like
can tsunami
Krow-
waves, bro.
Crow has been quiet for like 30 minutes, y'all, and
Anything to do with Whitebeard, bro. Anything.
Oh, y'all talking about Whitebeard? My bad.
It's like an
Bro, speaking
know
of,
instinctual.
we
negative
can't
about
ignore
White
the
action.
fact that Goatbeard actually did some crazy things this chapter. He did. Like, we
And,
have
bro,
to admit
I
that.
think-
It's wrong.
I don't want to believe that he got flung by rocks after that clash. I don't
I
want to
don't
believe it. I mean, we just don't see what happened. And Rox is running towards everybody, so obviously Whitebeard didn't stop him from doing that. So
I must
I mean,
have believed
it does.
that the court-
It
I
doesn't
must have
affect
believed
the
that
feat.
Took Whitebeard's attention, like all the mountain took his attention, and by the time he was focused on rocks again, he was already going trying to chase his woman. That's my head canon. That's my head canon.
And honestly, that's what I'm gonna believe too. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what's funny too is that one
No,
like
no,
once
thank
once
you.
he dropped the once they clash and then you see that Marine's reaction to the mountain falling. It's just funny to me because like imagine being some random fodder Marine at God Valley, bro.
Dude, they took out like several fleets.
Yeah.
They took out
did you
several
see-
fleets with the collateral damage alone. That's insane.
You know how much
It's-
chaos-
that
Did
is
y'all
wild.
see that horde of being a Marine in Marineford?
Oh, with the fan letter? Oh, yes.
I think he said horror, Crow.
for it?
I heard Discord was.
Wait, what
was,
happened?
He said horror, I think. Not
Yeah.
the other.
No,
horror.
I didn't say horde.
They got the holes at God Valley, bro. Damn.
Honestly, they did, bro.
Oh my
There was a
God,
couple
dude.
there.
Jackie, Harris, hey, they got Gloriosa, Big Mom, I guess. So,
Shanks'
bro.
mom. I'm sorry.
Short lived. You gotta keep it.
Rest in peace, very sad. Speaking of which, that is Garling's greatest feat. Isn't that wild?
Oh my God. He's still got a
Mom's
more.
greatest feat.
He's still got more frags than Kaido in Wano. So
True. That is true. I mean, we all
But
know
overall,
Kinemon
does he?
should have died, but we'll give it. You know.
Shout out to King.
oh my God.
Do you think what do you think Emu did
Bro.
with all these people at God Valley? Like he just killed all the Marines that were there, except for Garp.
Well, he was
Yeah,
telling Rox to
obviously,
destroy
yeah.
everybody.
Well, 'cause
If
I'm just
Garp
thinking,
is called
like-
the hero of the Marines, then he's got to show that here. I think there's gonna be
Yeah.
there's got to be something like Emu probably gets sent away, and maybe Saturn too, because we saw something like that happen at Egghead. I feel like there's a lot of Egghead and a lot of Marineford parallels. So I don't know, man.
I'm even thinking
that's
like
something that bothers me the
outside-
most.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying, how does Garp still have a job, y'all? Nobody's talking
Yeah.
about it.
I don't
Nobody's
know.
talking about it. What is going on, man?
Well, this is what I surmised. I said that Emu needed a face of the incident,
like a fall
and
guy.
Garp was not even a fall guy, just someone to
Like a
protect
cover.
Emu's image. And he used Garp because Garp was already a well-known Marine, had a lot of influence, and God Valley would make him into like a god amongst Marines.
Yeah, when you
So
do that,
nobody would question
overshadows-
it
Yeah.
if nobody's gonna question it if Garp was the hero of the incident.
Well,
You know
not
what I'm
just
saying?
that, but also like later on down the line, if Garp all of a sudden goes against Emu, Celestial Dragons, whatnot, it could be used against him. Like
Yeah.
because solely because
Well,
of the fact that
if-
he has this reputation built, like of protecting people.
And if you think about it in the first place, why did Emu let a D member in the Marines in the first? Like, why?
We had
Yeah.
Saul
You got a
too,
few of
and
them.
That's
Yeah.
the real question.
Shit just fucking dumb, bro. Like, what are you doing?
And I heard another theory on that, and it was because some D clan members just don't amount to anything. And
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just
he
like,
did say-
well,
he already said it
you
straight up,
can't
like,
take the chance.
He said y'all are like running around with that initiative, but y'all have no idea what it really means. So it's not. You gotta think about it. They've been running
Yeah.
the world for 800 years now, and there hasn't been a D member that has usurped him yet. So like at this point, he's like, bro, that shit just a fucking. It's just decoration.
Y'all are
at this point,
trash.
damn
Stay
near.
away.
Like,
And at
But
the
I mean,
same, and at
seeing
the same time, if you're a D member and you investigate the D, that's when they look at you a certain way. Remember, they got rid of
Yeah.
Clover's brother just because of his name. I'm thinking that's because they was researchers and y'all just digging a little bit too deep. If you got a D, we probably got our eye on you. But if you just over here, just overthrowing countries that we don't really care about, we ain't worried about that. But once you start digging in 600, 700 years ago, that's when we start taking you seriously, which is
That's why
weird. But
the goat of the One Piece world needs to.
Yeah, I
use
mean, you know
lore
the
and
prophecy.
power.
You know that Joy Boy is going to come back. You know that a D clan member is going to come back and take you down in the future. So why even risk it? Just kill them all. I'm not
It sound
saying
like
I
a
want you to do that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I think
Emu
that's the
fan,
like
bro.
true essence of it is that Whitebeard was saying it in his Death in Marineford is that it's not something in which like it's easily like a lineage you can just kill. I think that's the true power of the D clan is that it's a will passed down, so
Mhm.
it can be applied to anybody.
yeah, and when you look
So
at
as long as
with
you have that will,
Sabo,
then it keeps
Well,
going.
who gives
when
them the D in
Luffy,
their name?
that's just it. Is you could give it to yourself if you know enough, and like so with Sabo and Luffy made the Sa Di Bo joke, and then like
Mhm.
it's like this whole Spartacus thing where it's like it's not all of them, it's just one, but all of them muddy the water and the image enough to where it's like you can't be sure. And so I mean, we know that Emu's not above just genocide, but there's like layers to the plot that we aren't knowledgeable enough of yet as to why Emu hasn't just done shit 800 years ago. You know what I mean? But I'm trusting
Yeah.
that Oda will give us that nuance in some degree
Yeah, I mean,
I
in a
at some
way,
point.
And not to mention the
Yeah,
planet of
hold on.
One Piece is gigantic.
Yeah.
I gotta dip. I gotta run to handle something. Y'all like the stream, subscribe, and this whole chapter was a Sanji upscale. Peace out, y'all. It was
Oh
fun.
my god.
If I can make it back in
it's
time,
like
I'll
fuck
do
positive about Whitebeard. It's just a hater going.
Hey, boys, I was gonna say that for a while now, I think that this is gonna be Oda's biggest testament in terms of writing and in terms of wrapping everything up. Because if you really look at the characters he's been like putting up, I feel like in terms of writing, like, people constantly talk about like manipulators in like villains in anime and stuff like that. And also just like writing levels of uh like how intricate details are with how like crazy these villains go into detail in terms of, oh, I did this and this, these amount of steps. I feel like that's the amount of writing that he needs to show with Emu, and then even with Blackbeard and Luffy, like their fight and also just their narratives of like their powers and whatnot. I think Oda is really gonna get into his like writing, lore, and power scaling back. So I think we just got to give it a bit of time, but it'll be.
I actually disagree with sort of it's like kind of the angling of that, like respectfully, of course, but like I think that he's somebody who doesn't write himself into a corner because there are very few actual boundaries and borders and walls that he sets up within his canon and his story. And I think that it's because of these gaps that he's able to. You remember somebody a long time ago called him out, and they're like, "Wait, how is this devil fruit user, Mister 3, floating on the water?" And Oda just pulled it out and was like, "Actually, there's a him-shaped plank of wood underneath him. He's not floating." And like, so it's like there is not a single thing he hasn't been able to just write himself out of because of that aspect of creativity, and because he doesn't form as tight of a net of a narrative that a lot of people, we praise him because we can look deeper into these things, but it's all speculative. And I think as far as power scaling goes, he doesn't care about people sweat scaling and title scaling and pixel scaling in 2025 or in 2035 when he finishes this shit. And like when it comes to the gaps between 800 years back, where it's just like, why didn't Emu just do this 640 years ago when they had the chance? Then he could just write anything. So I think he's not going to make it concrete. He's going to leave it filled with holes and gaps that he could just very easily write himself out of, because it's meant to be open-ended like that in the long run. I feel like
I do feel like even with his writing style, like early on in One Piece, like if you look at Elbaf, D-Clan, even like hockey mentions very early on, but I feel like he just like left it out in the air and like knew that he was gonna use it, but trusted like just the journey of Luffy, like with the crew, just exploring new islands, and he's like, okay, what's this island gonna provide with the story next? Like I feel like he knew something in the background, but like you said, with leaving things open ended, he's able to close the gap with each arc. So he's able to focus on what he wants. But the whole point is that these little minor details that we see throughout all these like different arcs, like that are specifically tied to lore, like it's very open ended so that he can later fill it like as the story progresses. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean,
that's the nature of One
I
Piece, bro. There's so much that Oda's
well, the
like,
story is just so long, bro. It's
Yeah.
like he has to do that. You can't explain every little detail of the story.
Yeah, this
If you
isn't
if you
Hunter x
try to
Hunter
do
where you
that,
get,
you're
like, a
gonna
full
linger.
page of text.
You're gonna linger too long, and that's what he did. That's what he was doing at the beginning of Wano, bro. And that's why the pacing of the beginning of Wano is so. I don't want to say like terrible, because I give the beginning of Wano a lot of flack, but it's still decent to the point to where I could sit and read it.
yeah, I
But
think
like sometimes when Oda tries to fill those little holes, bro, it's to his detriment. Like with Kinemon and that law's fruit, for example.
Oh,
That's one of
yeah.
the egregious times where I'm like, all right,
yeah,
you're doing a little too
there's
much.
times where you could write yourself into a hole, which isn't exactly the same thing as a corner, but it's like if you establish just the slightest inclination of something that could lead to another thing somewhere else, the audience is going to take an inch and make a mile out of it. And it's like when you look at
Yep.
like in other intelligent scheming types in just media and anime in general, look at like Light in Death Note. And here we are 20 years down the line, and we can pick apart and say that, oh, he was actually stupid. He should have done this. He should have done this. He should have done this. But it's like hindsight's 2020. So it's like if they didn't write very specific moments of Light Yagami, doing certain things, he could still to this day be perceived as a genius. And so I think that Oda is probably going to be pretty careful about not writing himself into those types of holes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Luffy's the main character. He's not smart, and then like his devil fruit now, especially now, the whole idea of Luffy's devil fruit is to just be as ridiculous and creative as possible. There's not really much limitation there.
Yeah, it's tied to his imagination, but this fool is dumb as rocks. So that's the whole point, is that like it's so funny that we have to explain lore, everything to him, like all these different crew members he has trying to help him out and do everything, all leading him to the fact that like he needs to learn so much and understand his power, but he's just so dumb that he can't get it. And that's the like comedy genius of One Piece, in my opinion. Is that like all of this is crazy, but you gotta explain it to the dumbest motherfucker possible.
and it expands into the world of One Piece around it. Like everything in the world of it seems like anything is possible in the world of One Piece. Like you can become the embodiment of light, or like the embodiment of an element. Like your
Bro,
organs, your entire cellular structure
we've had
turns
someone
into
become a
magma.
jacket. like
Like
Oda is
that's
wild.
ridiculous. Devil fruits
The
as a
fact that
concept are insane.
Yeah.
the fact that we just recently, in the craziest stretch of chapters in full lore piece, see a man get booger diffed. That's the story, man. That's the story, and
Booger
people
dift is crazy.
people are trying to overanalyze it, and it's fun. I love having these conversations. Again, thank you guys for having me on. Always a blast. But it's just like it's crazy because like people act like it's like you can't just get into like all of the nitty gritty granular things that honestly Oda, with all due respect, is not considering. He's just having a good time, and there's a lot that he is considering, but the sheer scale of things and the statement that he said, he's like, I gotta refer to the One Piece wiki. He's not keeping track of everything we think he is.
Oh, not
You
at
know
all.
what I mean?
Yeah, bro, that Kuma thing,
I think
ever since I heard of it, it's been annoying me. Like, bro, how many people did he say? 500 people? And it's like, yeah. But I see what you're saying. Oda doesn't really care about the details of that. He just wants it to be known. The main point of it being known that Kuma did it.
I think One Piece has gotten to the point where we as a fan base have like been loving it so much to the point where we like constantly see these minor details, but Oda himself is only not only, but he is focused on the major. He knows what is going to happen in the future. So because of that, like his very simple writing steps seem very complex to us solely because he's considering something different. So whenever we're like, oh, like Goda, like, or like, oh, this foreshadowing is crazy, or like plot twist can never we're like expect what's
It's
going
like when
on.
Kinemon, when they think he's a genius and he's like sweating, and he's
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, it's like they attribute all this genius to him, and Oda's like, yeah, for sure, I totally did that. But in reality, it's just he focuses on something else. But that's the beauty of it, is that like he can
and,
take that
and,
credit.
and the beauty of leaving holes in the story is, it starts conversations like power scaling, and it starts theories. Like he's not ever going to explain everything, like you said, just because it provides content for his fans, which in turn keeps the fans occupied with the series.
Yeah, the discourse
So it
is
keeps them there.
and it's never been more alive and active, and it's because of those kind of gaps, and like we're only largely shown the world through the lens of Luffy, and it's rare that we get these moments where we get extended stretches of chapters focusing on somebody else, like Loki or Harold or Rocks and Odin and Kuma and things like that. But most of the story, like 95%, I would say, is through the eyes of Luffy. And it's because Luffy doesn't care about that shit. Like when in Post Wano, when Robin's like, hey, there's a lot of stuff happening in this newspaper. You want me to tell you about it? Luffy's like, I'm good. And and because we get that perspective most of the time, we can get shit like Fan Letter, which was a 10 out of 10, a wonderful, side story that could only really exist because Oda's not trying to just cover every little base and every little detail,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
Also, with the
one thing
people,
go ahead.
does it as well. I'll just say really quick, like, with One Piece staff, editors, and like all these people who want to animate for One Piece, I feel like they also, in a way, are kind of like the crew members to Oda's Luffy in a sense, where like they can also pick up where he can't. So like they're able to like pick up on small details, cover these things, or like give attention to like smaller details in which like Oda can improve and be like, oh yeah, that would tie in perfectly because it does this, this, and this. So I think that Oda like is always like focused on the main trajectory, but these tiny things like can technically be covered by him, but it's not necessarily that he has to be like focused on it all the time. All right, go ahead, preach.
One, because I want to kind of switch the topic real quick. I want to go to Emu and Rocks here. At the end of the chapters, like we see, I think through sheer willpower, Rocks kind of gains consciousness and uses the voice of all things. But it's just, to me, it's still kind of crazy thinking that Emu was able to take full control over Rocks with that power. Now I'm thinking like, how do you think that's going to play out in the final war? Because I feel like that's so overpowered. Where if he can just take over Luffy or Blackbeard or someone that level, that's broken, bro. That's like absolutely ridiculous. And
I got
like,
strong opinions.
I feel like it does have to happen again. Like, there's no way Emu's just gonna not use that power in the final war. And so I'm thinking, like, who do you think Emu would use it on? And also, like, I want to talk about the fight too. Like, how do you think this fight's gonna play out with Roger, Garp, and Rocks?
No clue, but it's gonna be goated. That's all I know.
I think this is very integral to defeating Emu. Rock seemed to have been under his own control, talking to Emu in the beginning of the chapter until Harold got interjected into the conversation, and that like sparked his emotion. So I was talking to Krow before the stream started. I was thinking, I don't know exactly how to explain it with armament, but I'm thinking like the point of all of this, like Luffy's gonna have to learn Zen at the highest stress levels. Like future sight, for you to actually do it, you got to be calm. You can't see the future if your emotions is moving too fast. If Luffy allows his emotions and allows that laughter to overwhelm him, he's not going to be able to beat Emu. I'm thinking the laughter and everything is to help everybody else around him, but at the same time, when it's time to lock in, he's got to learn that tranquility that no matter what else is going on, he's got to focus on the task at hand to be able to overcome Emu. So that's how I would answer that question.
It's like the Avatar state.
Yeah.
You got to be in bliss and in serenity and peace, but like also through the Avatar state, you're able to connect with the previous users. And like, what if we see Luffy legit have a conversation with Joy Boy?
Oh,
like, I don't know.
Wild, bro. That'd be wild.
Wait,
I don't know.
So kind of like a Hagoromo in Naruto.
Or like
kind of deal.
My Hero Academia and the previous One for All. Yeah.
One for All stuff. And not just that.
I know none of these examples, but I think I agree.
Well, no, I think Luffy will be able to see that. I think Luffy will be able to talk to Joy Boy through the voice of all things. I think that's going to be the conduit to be able to talk to Joy Boy.
Top Man was talking, and he said, we still need to get you while you're in this original stage. So I think that like if that's the case, then it's a point where Luffy can only like truly like die or like Gear 5 powers close out while he's still in Gear 5. So
I like what JJ was saying about real quick. Sorry, I like what JJ was saying about the laughter helping other people, because a lot of people shit on the scene where Stella's dying and Luffy's just gassing. He's just having a time, and like I think there's more context and nuance to that some people did not want to give it the credit to. And when you really boil it down, Luffy's power is only limited by his imagination and his stamina. But every one of his gears has came with a downside initially. Like Gear 2 was shaving years off his life. Gear 3, he became a little chibi guy afterwards. Gear 4, he had a time limit and then he needed more food. Same thing kind of with Gear 5. Now, he's going to overcome the stamina issue before the end of story, I feel like. Which means the only limiting factor he's going to have is imagination. So why wouldn't Emu have the same bag? You know?
Yeah. Also,
I think
feel like
Emu probably dips into the nightmare side of that realm.
Yeah. I wish Krow was here.
You know what I'm talking about?
He would have loved this, but I genuinely do think this is where like Sanji kicks in and his like
Lord.
like
someone clip it.
Hey, no, but like I've been saying for a long time now that food is probably the most important thing for Luffy, because if you look back in all these different arcs, even pre-time skip early on, right? Like it gets to a point where all he has to do is just get meat and he's good. but like hey, any type of food, and like he's ready to go again, right? And like it's to a point where people are like, oh my god, what the hell? This makes no sense. Or like it's just like people wrote it off as like some weird like, oh yeah, he's just like got his strength again because like he just needed a meal. But I genuinely think it's actually a part of like his nature. Like it is a
Hey,
literal like transitional thing, like energy
don't forget about
from his
milk.
What?
milk as well. Yes,
Milk too,
it's like
yeah.
calories taken in is literally his power used and outputted like outward. So because of that, he
What if the
constantly like is a food machine. He just needs it.
what if the cure to his stamina issue is an infinite supply of food? What if he's able to make food
That's what I'm
out of
saying.
his
That's
dreams?
where Sanji comes
Is
in.
that what
I
you're
don't. I
saying?
don't. No, I don't think that he like Luffy will be able to make the
Oh my
food, but
god,
I
y'all.
think like it'll get to a point where
Hold on.
like it's a little like
Chopper is going to fulfill his role as emergency food supply in the final war. And that's how Luffy gets the hockey bloom. No, but
He
legitimately,
sacrifices
the
himself.
sacrifice needed.
That'd be crazy.
no,
Bro, I feel like
we
people would
saw
hate that. Luffy.
we saw with Kumadori when he talked about life return in Eni's lobby, when he ate that whole fridge worth of food and then just instantly digested it, that like there's levels to being able to control your body on a cellular level, that you can instantly metabolize food and generate that into like that's just Luffy. That's what he equates to willpower because of the way that his mind works. But with other people, it could be other things. And I do think that he'll overcome the stamina issue. And truly, the only limiting factor he will have is his imagination. And it makes sense. People were talking about, I don't like that rocks can get Domi reversied. And it seems that there's no limit to Emu's power. It seems like a poor writing decision. But in all honesty, that's what end of story Luffy is also going to be capable of doing. So it makes sense for Emu to be on that level already. They've had 800 years. Luffy's had 2. You know what I mean? Well, he trained for a lot longer,
And,
but that's what we've seen.
Wow, when you come to think about it,
and not to mention,
it's still 2 years. It's 2 years. Crazy. But
not
go
to
ahead,
mention,
Zane.
through every gear, Luffy has stamina problems. And it's a good device to use because it can halt Luffy's progression right when he gets the ability. So Oda can flesh it out more over the next couple of arcs. So it's like he's always going to get past that stamina issue. So that's definitely going to get solved. And the imagination thing is, I think you're definitely right about that.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Well,
able to do some crazy stuff by
I
the end
feel
of the
like
story.
with Joy Boy's power is also knowing about the Joy Boy lore, like knowing about everything in the world. Because I can easily imagine like Luffy getting ideas from learning about what like he sees in the lore. Like it's just like I swear we just need the Straw Hats to like be in a like Albathian classroom. Robin is like has a whiteboard and just explains for 1 hour. Like, okay, this is everything. And then Luffy figures it out. Like we just need him to at least figure out something because like it's really tied to this like main thing that he needs to know who he is.
The only thing I
Because
don't
even in
like with
Egghead,
with
he has no
Luffy,
clue.
because I just feel like Luffy, would he ever even accept the role of Joy Boy? Like, let's say he talked to the previous Joy Boy. I feel like Luffy would just reject it.
No.
So I
Luffy
don't
doesn't
know
want to be called anything other than Luffy and the King of Pirates.
That's what I mean. So
That's the only
I
two
don't know
things
if,
Luffy wants to be called.
I feel
think
like
that would
it's
be the
more simple
ultimate.
with Luffy. Like he's gonna save his friends. He's gonna do what he has to do. But I don't think if he's being given this bigger responsibility, he's going to reject it.
But hear
I
me
mean,
out. I think that would be the
Which I
ultimate standing
highly
on
doubt.
business. Where if like imagine the dust settles after the final war, Emu's done, Blackbeard's done, Luffy and Kobe and Buggy and whoever else is standing triumphant as the victors, and the new world order can take place and everything like that. But like if you really think about it, and like maybe Zunisha or someone else, someone who's knowledgeable of Joy Boy is like starting to chant that, and Luffy said, no, that's not who I am. My name is Monkey D. Luffy, and I'm going to be King of the Pirates.
Pirates.
And
Yes,
the
sir.
thing he's been saying since chapter freaking
Yep.
1 pretty much is how we get and there's no more to be continued. It's the end.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that'd be sick. I think it'd
I
be
think
sick.
also, as well as the fact that if you look in Wano, right, as soon as he turns Gear 5, Kaido questions his identity completely. He's like, "Who the hell are you?" And then he's like, "Bro, I'm fucking me. I'm Luffy. Like, I didn't change. I'm not someone completely
Yeah.
different. It's me." So
That's
Yeah.
true.
I
The
get what you're
world will
saying. Like,
see
his
him as
identity is
the
definitely gonna
figure, but
shape it.
it's like he still is not like even if Luffy doesn't want to be Joy Boy, the whole world will still see him like that.
See, I don't even think like it's a Luffy is Joy Boy. I think it's Joy Boy gets to be Luffy, low key. But that's the conversation for
Well,
later.
well, I don't
The
think
upscale.
the only thing that I think passes is like everybody thinks the will. Like I don't want this. I don't want them to be tied together on a almost physical level, like how Naruto and Sasuke were with Indra and Ashura.
Yeah.
Like I don't want that type of dynamic
I
with
do
Joy
see what
Boy
you
and
like the
Luffy.
whole like reincarnation thing. I do get that. And I don't think it's a reincarnation thing
No,
specifically.
no, no.
I just think there's a different way that Oda's gonna go about it, but
The way I
I
see
think it's a
it,
lot
I
more
see.
deeper than just, like Ashura
I,
Indra
I don't think
like
it's
Yeah.
maybe
fulfilling.
reincarnation, but I see it more of like it's a myth, and Luffy is fulfilling the myth.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he
Like
wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't think
when
he
you look
was
at
Joy Boy until Gear 5, but I think that's because he's fulfilling the kind of the prophecy, kind of the myth that's been said to
Well,
come.
I think he was always supposed to do it, and somebody from the Void Century had observation hockey, really powerful,
Yeah.
and they looked into the future and saw that, so they passed on the message through Joy Boy,
yeah.
and
Well, there's two
Joy,
different legacies that are being painted, and like
yeah, Davy.
in Davy and in Joy Boy, and when you look at it, Davy, like Rox is a direct descendant. He shares blood and flesh, and not just will. Like there is a physical element to the Davy side of things. And with Blackbeard representing that in the current era, he again still has that same blood tie. Luffy's story, though, has always been about found family. So it makes sense for him to not have any of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I
No,
mean?
I
Yeah.
agree.
And especially because Blackbeard,
And
this guy backstabbed his family with Whitebeard, and
Well, his found family. That wasn't real family.
yeah.
Yeah.
also, I do want to say just a quick thing in my mind. We were talking about the reincarnation thing, but it's not reincarnation. But I do think it's funny that like, Luffy's always asking like for food, meat specifically, and then like it's like in Japanese it's Nika, Nika, right? But I think it would be very funny if like old school Sun God Nika or whoever it was like was named such solely because of the fact that like he personality wise was just like Luffy. In my opinion, it's a headcanon that he was literally just a homeless dude who helped everybody out like in terms of fights. Like he was the most broken
Oh my
character ever.
god.
And when like time came like by, right, nobody really like paid attention to him, but all he would scream is meat. Nika. Just constantly
Wait,
asking for meat.
so you said Nika is meat in Japanese?
Like it's like when you yell it out loud. Like when you hear Luffy yelling for meat out loud, it sounds exactly like Nika. So it's always been my headcanon that like the previous Nika was just some random dude yelling for meat constantly because he needed like food in his system.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So they named him that, like, oh,
That-
it's the Nika
Hold
guy.
on.
And
That's kind of cool
yeah.
because with like the Elbev Giants when they came to Egghead, they brought the food knowing that was tied to Joy Boy in a way. Like I don't think it's just with Luffy. I think that maybe does have something to do with his powers, I guess, or maybe just
Yeah,
the
because
fact that
they were
Luffy is
talking
another
about like
Joy
it
Boy.
having regenerative abilities, even though it tasted like absolute dog shit. So like it is important. So I think that maybe it's my headcanon that like it's just literally just a random dude being like meat, meat, meat,
That's pretty
like
cool.
all across, like
Something
just
Zane said kind of wrinkled my brain when he's saying, what if it's just someone with like crazy observation hockey and like what if so like as an inversion to what's going on with Davy, where they are trying to fulfill the same role as someone long from the past, someone their blood tied to. What if Luffy is completely independent from Joy Boy And instead of him trying to fill the role of someone from the past, what if someone from the past was trying to fill the role that Luffy played? What if Joy Boy himself saw 800 years into the future and was like, I want to be like that guy?
Oh my gosh,
That's
bro.
fire,
That
bro.
would be the perfect
Hey,
way
Insane.
to
You know
tie
what?
them, bro.
You know what?
That's what I'm saying. It's the reversal. It's Joy Boy wants to be Luffy.
I don't know if you remember that old theory about Joy Boy where they say like he was based off Jayabaya, the guy who could see like 1,000 years into the future. So that could have been like the previous Joy Boy from the Voice Century.
I mean, we're getting into Attack on Titan stuff with like future memories and whatnot. This is wild.
And I think that's interesting because it makes you wonder about like. I always wonder when Roger went to Labtail and he said, "I want to see your era." I always thought maybe like that's definitely a reference to the Void Century and Joy Boy, but I also think like he wanted to see Luffy and he wanted to see what Luffy would create with his dream.
100%.
Yeah,
so I think it's both.
Why
I think
is Odin so sure that 20 years from now that's why I feel like Wano's also very important. Is that Odin knew exactly what he was doing, like with everything from dancing in the street, like acting like a complete idiot, like doing all these dumb dances, but keeping his family safe, and then opening Wano 20 years from now, although it needs to be closed because
with Toki, like it would make so much sense if Toki knew back then, like if she directly knew that she needed to be 800 years from now or some shit.
Yeah, which is why she needed to go exactly to Wano, and that's the last thing Odin wanted to do because like, I just got out of Wano, bro. I'm trying to like explore the seas, and then she's like, okay, I'll go with you. So sort of like appease him, but I do feel like it's definitely connected in some sort of way, which is why Wano is very important.
Wild, yo.
Might have to make that into a short.
Shit.
Drop a theory.
Definitely make that one into a short. Cooking.
I mean, there's a lot, but this chapter definitely cooked with everything. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like with the voice of all things returning, with like Emu also pretty much almost no diffing everybody in terms of like taking the hits. Theory and lore pieces back. Shit.
I wonder if the conversation with Rox is going to be extended, and we're going to get Rox telling Roger about everything he knows.
Oh, that would be fire.
So that sparks Roger's need to want to go find the One Piece.
It's kind of a parallel to what happens with Roger after he's declared king of the pirates and he's sick and he gives up. He straight up has a conversation with Whitebeard, the goat, and says, "Do you want to know everything?" And Whitebeard's like, "I'm okay." No,
but guess who
I
does
don't
want to know everything?
Roger.
Shanks.
Okay.
I mean, Roger did talk to Shanks, and Shanks is doing something specific, not having any devil fruits, waiting for the crude, and then finally going for the One Piece when Luffy's ready. There's something.
I still think that Shanks had a similar mentality to Luffy, where he didn't want to know everything. He wanted the journey for himself, maybe. I don't know. Part of me, when he had that conversation with Beckman, he's like, "What do you think? It's about time we go get the One Piece." Like he could have, if he could have done it at any point, I think he just would have. I think he was waiting on something else. Like we were just saying, like there could be more. Yeah, but there's also like maybe an aspect of him enjoying his journey,
Yeah, true. Doesn't want to speed run it like Luffy did.
Bro, Luffy speed ran that shit so quick.
All I'm gonna say is there's only one person that could actually speed run it, but let's just keep that out of the conversation right now.
Buggy.
Mr. Sakazuki.
Big Sakazuki.
One thing I want to say though, at the end of this flashback, I know Krow, he's like, this is gonna be kind of a more boring moment in the flashback, but we do need to see Harold and his entire reaction to Rox, just because like, is he going to have regret that he didn't help him, or like we got to see kind of how that plays into Elbaf, and especially because we've seen Harold got Dami Reversi, so in that way it's like, bro, like you could have been there with Rox fighting Emu. Or he could have at least warned him of something, but I think it's gonna be interesting just to see how it all ties together.
I was thinking before, Harold wouldn't make a difference.
He wouldn't make a difference.
Now that we know, Well, now that we know that Emu has a sweet spot for Harold, there's like some sort of ulterior motive there because they want a pliable leader or whatever the wording was. It's like maybe Harold could have at least stalled. You know what I mean? But power wise, he ain't making a difference. Not even
And
close.
I mean, we still don't
I
know his
think
devil
that-
fruit and like how that would play out.
I think he ate it
Yeah,
because it was
I
in the
don't think
chest.
he ate it either. Yeah, and I think
Yeah.
that the emu like conversation of pliable next generation, I don't even think it's about Harold. I think it's about Loki. And I think that's the main struggle of Elbaf is Emu's influence over Loki versus Luffy's. Luffy getting him to his crew or Loki turning into his innate desire of destruction, rocks his will, everything, and like not catering towards Emu, but being like, okay, like you want me to be evil? Fine, I'll destroy the world. So it's teetering between those two.
Yeah, and the more we see of Rocks and just this whole flashback, it's Loki is becoming one of the more interesting characters just because he has ties to both Harold and Loki. Like he wants to, I mean, I assume that he wants to kind of follow in Rock's shadows and just inspired from him. But at the same time, it's like if you because Rocks wanted to go after Emu, and you know Emu was also the downfall of Harold. So I think it's gonna be like kind of cool to see how both of their and like how they both fell is going to influence Loki's motivation. Because
You know what?
I don't think he knows yet about Emu so much, but if he finds out, then it's like okay, now it's even more motivation to fulfill Rox's dream.
I think we'll get a deeper understanding about Emu for Loki during his confrontation with Shamrock, because he has to go back and fight Shamrock. Like that was set up by Oda.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
You
when
sur-
Shamrock
you-
showed up, it's like, are you visiting Harold's grave or something like that? Like, we still need context on that.
And it's like, well, Loki's got to get his get back, and they're not going to sit there silent fighting the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think that's where we'll get more for Loki on that situation, unless he talks with Luffy and the crew about it. But I don't know. I just don't see Loki joining the crew like as an actual member.
I can see it because like if you look at the track record of every single Straw Hat, it's quite literally just the most traumatic, depressed, darkest like moments of their life, and they're like, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm literally about to die, or you know, like life is taking a toll over me in which I can't control. Somebody's got to help me. And Luffy steps in, and you know he doesn't want to know anything about them or wants to do anything, but he just likes their nature and is like, all right, bet, and then just goes to work.
I have nothing wrong.
Nami, everybody.
I have nothing wrong with that character route. Like that character route is like the usual Straw Hat, like their story getting onto the ship. But my thing is Loki physically. Like he's
like,
literally gigantic.
Like the fool.
How are we gonna get him? He'd have to go like on another ship next to Luffy, and that ship would dwarf the Thousand Sunny. So it's just like
this is why this is to JJ a huge Frankie upscale. He's gonna make a gigantic ship, and he has the Atom Tree with him because he's at Elbaf. So he has all the tools at his capabilities and his like disposal, with Vegapunk being there too. So they could make the best ship ever.
Any upgrade.
Make Pluton, rebuild Pluton.
I mean,
maybe we don't even need Pluton, bro. Pluton can
the way that I see the way that I see the Loki situation is like the two people he's meant to embody, you know, and fill the role of in this era is obviously Rox and Harold to some extent. He can't do both because they're different people. They had different motives and different methods of doing things. But with Harold, we've seen he's obstinate and against certain ways, and he was refusing to join Rox the entire time. But so maybe that aspect of him is echoed in Loki. But then you also have Rox, who is somebody who was trying to fight people and recruit them through Davy Back fights and stuff. And so like maybe he's only going to accept Luffy's invitation if he's defeated by Luffy first. So I could see a world where him joining the crew in some aspect, maybe like how, I mean, Vivi is technically a crew member. She's just not sailing with us currently because she has a nation to look after and all these other things going on. And now she's sailing with or flying with Morgans, but like she's still a crew member. Like no matter what anybody says, Oda's already confirmed it. And in this most recent SBS, we get more of kind of that theming as well, because he does the future depictions of the Straw Hats and he did it for Vivi as well.
Yeah.
And so like Loki doesn't need to join in the same capacity that Brooke and Frankie and Chopper and everybody else did. But I could see him just being an allied captain. Like we saw 50 of them in Marineford for Whitebeard. I don't think he's going to swear straight allegiance to Elbaf or anything like that because he's been so opposed. But I do think that there needs to be a moment where maybe Luffy knocks some sense into him, realigns his priorities a bit. And what were you saying earlier about him either maybe joining the side of the Davy or joining the side of the Nika in the present day? Is he gonna like which side is he gonna end up on? I think it's more compelling if he makes his own path and becomes his own actual character.
I agree.
Yeah. Or he might even support both. I mean, you never know. Blackbeard is definitely going to be seen as the next successor to Rocks. So, I mean, there could be some situation where he... Because if we're looking at it through the lens of Blackbeard and Luffy might both be necessary to defeat Emu. Now, you might disagree with Blackbeard and how he goes about it, but just as far as like getting the job done, you might have to just roll with Blackbeard for a minute there and then let Luffy handle the rest from there.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, even if you look at the path Rox has taken, right? Like people think he's crazy, constantly just like doing the most like absurd shit, you know, with like a very violent path, like trying to speed run everything. Like from the outside, it looks like he's, you know, like lashing out at his system and like just constantly causing violence. But at the same time, from their lens, they're trying to undo a bunch of shit because they already know that the top is bullshit. So they're fighting everything, but the world doesn't know it yet. So I think that's the main reason why, like, if they're able to somehow connect and figure out that, everybody at the top is bullshit, then and spread that message across, it makes the entire story completely different. So I think that might be the end goal.
I do think Loki will have a redemption for as far as how he's viewed in Elbaf. I think by the end of this arc, they're going to see him a lot different. And it seems like people don't really know the full context and the whole story of what happened with him and Harold. So I think also that needs to be cleared up. Because he kind of implied to Hajrud in that it's like, do you really think I just would want to kill my father for power? So I think there's way more that we still don't even know with that. Oda still hasn't even shown that really. But as far as like, I just want to real quick. I just want to go back to the Dami Reversi because Zane, you brought up Zoro, but like, bro, what kid? Let's be real. Like, what kid? Because Zoro would be crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That might be the most insane plot twist that Oda could do. Just as far as like, I would have never wanted to see Luffy and Zoro fight in that way. But like, who else? Like, because I don't think
Whiskey Peak foreshadowing.
Oh, yeah. I think like there's definitely gonna be some characters that are. It has to be someone pretty important and probably pretty powerful.
I just hope it isn't Loki.
I can see Green Bull, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I can definitely see Green Bull.
Why Green Bull?
Just because like Green Bull, he's from the beginning. He's like, I'm a full-on supporter of the Celestial Dragons. He's like not really.
Oh, you think he'll get a like an actual like a wanted buff from Emu, like he wants it?
Yeah, I could see it even being willingly, but I just don't think he's thinking about it too much. Where it's like he seems to be like a diehard supporter.
I think that's
he just likes
Sakazuki.
Sakazuki.
Okay. Yeah, but I think that might be the difference, though, is that with Dorian Brogy and with Rocks, we see them opposed to this power buff. And so they're Domi Reversied. But there has to be another way of Emu granting their powers, because what the hell are these God's Knights? What does the Goro say? So I think if you enter into a contract willingly, is different from Domi Reversi. You know?
Yeah.
What we're trying to do right now is try to analyze like S tier level powers when we still only have like B tier level knowledge.
Well,
Like
the
we
thing,
still need to learn a lot more before we can really dive into this.
Domi Reversi is like it's supposed to strip your free will.
Or how about this?
Like that's the entire thing. That's the entire point of the power.
Do
And it
you-
buffs you, obviously, but the point of it is to strip your free will. You fight for me now. So yeah.
Which is
Do you
why
think we'll
the
see a
voice of
straw
all
hat
things is very
get Domi
important.
Reversi?
Who?
Do you think we'll see a straw hat?
Zoro.
Domi Reversi? No, you
Listen,
know,
it's not a
very funny-
downscale either. Because
No,
Rock's got.
that's not my thing.
yeah.
It's like I'm just wondering if Oda would do it. Like that's pretty crazy,
If they
bro.
somehow do it to Usopp, that'd be funny as fuck. But
Oh man. Oh
he
my
would die.
God.
Luffy would
die,
kill him
but
on
it would be
accident.
so damn funny.
Brother. Oh
Usopp, we
man,
got-
Sniper Island oh my god.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, but it would be really funny if the theory of you need to be in your homeland for Domi Reversi to work, and
And Sniper
Usopp is
Island's in your
constantly
heart.
being like, Elbaf is a place I want to be. I want to be a
Well, no,
brave warrior of the sea.
Sniper Island is in your heart, brother.
Oh yeah, Sniper Island as well. Yeah,
He's got
like,
it with him.
Maybe it's Sanji and Zoro, bro. And that
No,
makes Luffy lock in.
oh, that would be
Like
even
Roger's
funnier
going to.
If
But
Sogeking
what about-
himself can be Domi Reversi'd anywhere because it's.
But what
him
about
being
Underwater
Sniper
Jinbei?
Island.
Oh god.
Underwater
Oh.
Jinbei.
We see the full
Oh my.
potential of Jinbei.
Okay, we might see Arlong, bro.
Emu.
The return of blue hockey, bro. We
Oh
need
Oh,
my
underwater
God.
Arlong.
it.
Bro, you might as well launch a nuke underwater, bro.
That's so funny.
That's the equivalent.
I've seen all the memes too of like what happens if an evil person. Can you imagine what happens if Doflamingo gets Domi Reversi? He's just good now.
Oh my god.
yeah.
That's weird.
Or like
Like, all of
Teach.
a
What
sudden
if
it's like,
Blackbeard?
Luffy, let me help you.
Yeah, what if
Oh,
Blackbeard gets Domi Reversi? He's just a swell guy, you know.
Hey.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
you know what? This is a funny discussion. Okay, top 5 funny or top 3, if we want to make this quick, of funniest Domi Reverses possible. I think Usopp's got to be there.
I think I would
Let's
like
see.
Senior Pink, bro. That'd be fire.
That'd be funny
Oh
too.
shit!
Top 3.
You were
Gaimon.
cooking with Stelly.
Tommy
Stelly was
may be
We
scary.
gotta
Scary.
see Stelly. That's like we gotta see Sabo fight Domi
Give
Reversi
me
Stelly.
Domi Reversi Gaimon.
Ooh.
And I'll
Yes.
call it, bro. Give me that, Oda. His afro turns into like weapons.
I'm not gonna lie, like, I don't think it would happen, but like a Domi Reversi Brook design would look fire.
Oh yeah, that would look fire.
But who else?
The funniest though, maybe
yeah.
Treble.
And-
Treble.
Having Nami chase down Usopp and Chopper while in Domi Reversi.
Or
It's peak
even
comedy.
You better not
JJ
put Sanji right there.
I was gonna
Jesus.
say Domi Reversi chasing Sanji. That would be.
Oh my god, he would just let him. He would let her catch him.
Dude, honestly though, if we're like not going for comedy angle, but like power wise, Momonosuke, like because that's
Oh
like,
my gosh, you put
He's
him to
on-
his full potential. He's nasty.
that's crazy, right? Like, because like I don't know, like it's or like I don't know, NL. Like if
know what
we
would
get
be
Slim
crazy
Shady
too?
back,
Yeah, Alan, he's just for
Power-wise?
the people.
I would like to see Zunisha. I know it wouldn't
Bro.
happen, but could you imagine, bro? Like fighting a Domi
Bro.
Reversi Zunisha.
that might already be the case though.
Yeah,
You know
Because
what's
they
crazy?
said they were cursed
Yep.
to
Yeah.
do this task, and they're over 1,000 years old. So like
Punishment as
maybe
well.
they already
Odds
are.
is-
It could just be
I
a
wonder
regular-
if you can Dami Reversi people with devil fruit.
I was thinking that probably is the crime, right? Like that's probably the crime that he was Domi Reversi'd and betrayed Joy Boy at some point.
Has there been a Dami Reversi victim that had a devil fruit that we
You
know
know,
of?
I think this is a
Not
good
that we
point,
know of.
Zane, because this might be the argument itself, is that Dami Reversi takes the devil inside of you and turns you into something you're not. But if there's already an occupying devil, like with powers already in you,
Yeah.
Some
Can't be
Black
reversed.
Clover shit.
yeah,
Oh, so if you have a
So-
devil fruit, you can't. It
Yeah.
doesn't affect you.
yeah, like
But
obviously.
then
like,
why
yeah,
would Shanks and Roger have their crews specifically without Devil Fruit users?
I
Is
think
another
that's something different. I think that might be
Well,
related to like just
Ibu's
getting
whole
stuff.
plan is to sink the world. So if you
Yeah.
have a devil fruit with that plan going along, I mean, he obviously Roger knew the full context of it, so he probably knew that it wasn't going to happen in his lifetime. So it's like, well, I mean, why didn't you just do that? Or maybe you can just have really strong hockey too to counter it.
I
Yeah.
think there's got to be some type of advantage towards devil fruits themselves that not even Emu intrinsically understands is an advantage, because otherwise, like, there'd be no point in Luffy having one. I mean, obviously, we know that like the Nika fruit is extremely important and whatnot, and like the will of Luffy, like the fruit was drawn to him. But at the same time, like I feel like there's got to be an intrinsic advantage that like Oda might put in that be like, yo, this is the reason why, and like although devil fruit users can't swim, there's a huge upside that nobody knows yet, but like it's protecting you pretty
I
much.
think that the thing for Shanks and Roger is kind of just the idea that they are pirates. And maybe at first it wasn't like, because I think we've seen even in God Valley, they got a hold of one of the devil fruits and they wanted to use it. But I think it's like at first they were thinking, well, we're pirates. If something goes wrong, we're out in the sea. I know we don't see a lot with Luffy, but you know, if we ever get attacked by Marines in the middle of the ocean and everyone has devil fruits, that's like, it's pretty risky.
Unless you have one of the 6 devil fruits that allows you to fly or
Yeah,
whatever he
that's the
said.
thing. Like
Shit.
I feel like they didn't really think about it, but if you have Kaido's fruit, a lot of the stuff that's as far as like the ocean and stuff, you could just fly. Like there's certain fruits that kind of counter that completely. Marco, Kaido's,
Or Flamingo.
Dofi's, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair though,
So
like you could count Luffy in that if you want to, because the boy's practically flying. He's running on air.
He ran on air, yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
Blue with Gear
but no,
4.
I think it's some of the funniest people to see Domi Reversi, to get back to that, is just like some, I don't know, like I always meme about Geen coming back into the story.
Oh yeah, Green coming back.
My
I
goat.
remember the Green being Green Bull agenda. Oh, that was very very
What about
fun.
Judge?
Judge too. Oh, Judge becomes a good
He'd be
father.
an
Shit.
upstanding guy. Yeah, like he pays his child support or whatever. Like,
Uh,
that's crazy.
That will
See,
never
the thing
get
is,
paid.
like, the sad part is, Judge could have easily paid child support. It's not. That's not what Sanji needed,
He's got
bro.
a kingdom. Yeah, he's
Uh,
like,
shit.
oh man.
What's
But
more
like,
Being
like?
rich and ducking child support is crazy.
Yeah, wild. Not just
I don't
that.
know.
I think
As far
there's
as like,
another. Like, I think there's gonna be a character where I think it'll come back with the whole Buccaneer situation. Because I really thought that we're gonna see more of Rocks, kind of gaining consciousness and fighting back, just using sheer willpower. We kind of saw it with the Voice of All Things, but I think if we see it in the future again, there's gonna be someone who's another Buccaneer, maybe Blackbeard, I guess, probably not, but someone else. And because we saw with Kuma, he was able to snap out of his programming, even if it was only for that moment. I think we're gonna see that again with the Buccaneer race.
I think he's alive and kicking because like Vegapunk is still alive, so I feel like Vegapunk can still sort of tinker with Kuma and like make sure he's all right. And
I
I
mean, why
think
would he
that
lie to Bonnie though?
yeah,
You know, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I think that there's just a lot of uh things we need to consider, but I think the power of being able to transcend like programming based off of like emotional needs to provide for your daughter is something like only intrinsic either within the Buccaneer family, like in terms of emotion, or it's just something like that needs to be spoken like in terms of like voice of all things type of thing,
I
right?
like the
So
idea that he propels his soul out of himself and into like the seraphim him or whatever. Like, and maybe that's like, it's not something that anyone can do. It's a Buccaneer thing. But
also, for
like,
a while, I've been thinking that, it is kind of fucked up when you like look back and think about it, but Kuma did put all of his memories into like a safe house, like for Vegapunk, and like he became a robot. So I do think that like if Vegapunk commanded him to absorb the memories back again, he would be himself. And Bonnie kind of ruined that. Like I like it is touching, but at the same time, like Kuma could have come back with those memories. If that
I mean,
makes
the
sense.
memories are still in Bonnie, though. He could pull him out of
True.
Bonnie and put him
Yeah.
into himself. Like, it's like they didn't just go nowhere. You know, I
That
don't
is
know.
true.
It's really interesting, but I think that the fact that they established the 21 grams of soul or whatever, I think that that might tie into if Kuma does perpetuate in the rest of the story and it isn't just like a vegetable. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see. He's in my top 3. I love him.
Yeah.
Like, he's the GOAT. And he's still relevant in literally this last chapter that we just got. So clearly Oda isn't wanting us to forget that he's here on Elbaf in present day still. And there could be a development where Vegapunk figures something out. But with the way that things currently are and the knowledge that Vegapunk currently has, I don't think they currently know, because why would they lie straight to Bonnie's face and say that they can't? I think they could learn it, but they don't know it yet, I think.
See, that's why I think Voice of All Things is very, very important. Also, why it was introduced back again now, because like if it's possible, like it's quite literally like the connection to bring everybody in the world together. Whether it's an animal, a human being, different races, different like even robots, like from E-Myth, now Kuma, like all these different like beings and people that like you would never think could be connected together is tied together by this one universal sort of like intrinsic voice of all things. So I think that's the key that we need to sort of figure out.
All right. Well,
But hey,
I
that's for
think this is a
Luffy. That's not for
good
us.
place to wrap it up. Does anyone have any like final thoughts they want to? Just
Beautiful chapter. Domi Reversi isn't bad writing. Zoro is a god. And Sakazuki is top 1.
Hey man, the one thing
Yes, sir.
I want to see is Garp face off against a dummy Reversi Bogard.
Oh my god.
Bro, Bogard
the
would get sent to the next galaxy, bro.
His first feats in the verse, and they're not even his. Like, it's wild.
That Domi Reversi Panda Man? Oh god.
Oh my, bro, that is a universal threat.
See, I've always thought about like Panda Man like being either a spy for Dragon or somehow being like a way to like for Emu to keep an eye on everything that's going on in the world.
Emu Zetsu.
Yeah. So
Who says there has to be just one Panda Man?
Yeah, it
Oh
could
my
be
goodness. But that's what you would never know, because he's black and white. Like, which side is he on? Is he like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Goat Panda Man.
I gotta say, before we go, again, thank y'all for having me. And Thriller Bark is top 1. Everything ties back to Thriller Bark. That's my piece.
Hey, bro, you're great to have on, bro.
All right, guys, go subscribe to Vex. I'll link him in the. Well, actually, I already edited the whole description, so he's in there. But go check him out. Appreciate you coming on, bro.
For sure.
JJ, you got any final words?
I'm just gonna throw it out real quick. When Emu said, "In the Davy by his, your own hands, rocks," the first person he attacked was Kaido, because that Oni blood got something to do with Buccaneers and Davy as well. But other than that, I'm good to go. OPU, we do what we do.
Yes, sir.